Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You're the blackest one in this room,
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border. And then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on America's soil. So he became the anchor baby. You don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. How you doing, everybody, on this fine Friday? Thank you for tuning in. I'm in the chair. How you doing? Appreciate you being here. On this fine Friday, I know we usually do a flight. I'm having graphics cards issues, I think. So I'll get back. Look, plane's in the shop. We're doing maintenance, big-time maintenance, and we can't be flying on a plane with no maintenance, okay? You know what happens when, bad things might happen. Not like that usually happens on Nick Stream Friday. So appreciate you being with me today in the chair. We'll be taking calls and more. I got some things on my mind. We got a couple things on our minds, maybe. Maybe some of you have some things on your minds. You're confused. You're feeling confusion. You're sitting there and you're confused. You opened your eyes expecting to be in the cozy seat of your plane with the sound. Just imagine it. Just be there internally. You're sitting there. The sound is going, the hum. Nick Stream tunes are either confusing you and stressing you out, challenging you, or keeping you docile. In and out, right? But you're not. We're here, American Anchor Baby, and we could talk. We could still kick back and relax on a Friday, right? Come on. We could still enjoy our Friday here. And I'm coming into the studio. I'm coming into the chair. And I got, I was thinking about, I was listening to Kamala's speech. It's actually quite interesting. Get some of my thoughts on that. But look, we got a couple of things to get into. I appreciate you all being here. What's up, Becca? Point Fire. We got Canada in the chat. Nick Craven Timbits. Sorry, sir. They call it donut holes around here. They don't have that kind of they're just like donut holes here. Like, oh, whatever, donut holes. But Timbits, that's a different thing. Appreciate you being here. What's up, Megan C. Sal? Delighted to be here. Birdie Bound, Brian Carver, Air Marshals still. And everybody, okay? Thank you. Tiger, what's up, Tiger Jones? Welcome, Lord Bibby. Nice to see you. Doom Jesus, man, thank you for always checking that and being the canary in the coal mine. No, wait, that's different. Someone help me understand that one. What's that mean? You get a little bird. You get a little bird. You're in the coal mine, and it's supposed to warn you if things are bad, right? Because it dies, right? You're the canary in the coal mine, Doom Jesus. They're not. They're shadow banning the Anchor Baby, so I thank you for that. Anyways, what's up, Alejandro Jas fan? Who are you? All thoughts are all lies all the time about everything. Did you know that? All thoughts, you can get this shirt, rebuildingtheman.com/stores. All thoughts are all lies. Welcome, everybody. Look, I'm in the chair. 888-775-3773 is the number you're used to. Let me see. Maybe I can even open up my Discord here. Welcome. He's in the chair. How you doing, Terry? What Welcome. How's your Friday, everybody? You can still kick back. You can still kick back. You know, I'm coming in before I get into some stuff here because I got a number of things here. You know, they're talking about men's hobbies. Look, it's a little thing that's going off right now. Gamers, where you at? How your little chair doing? Gamers, where are you? You know, they're talking about, time to man up. What's going on? Video games. Who's playing that? I don't know, something about a plantation. I don't care about all that. But I'm also coming in here and I was thinking about Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris. Well, didn't she have a different name? Or was that always her name? They were saying some stuff earlier. Kamala. Whoa. I don't know numerology like some of you people do. 666, what? I'm gaming right now. Shout out to the gamers. We'll get to that. Look, we'll get to you. But I'm thinking about this. She's going to be president. They say, well, that's what they're going to try. And her speech, you know, she spoke at the last day of the DNC. I ended up watching it. And she's like a real person. Here's what I mean. These people, these Democrats, these people were watching and talking about, But, you know, that we got all this commentary on it. Well, maybe I do. I'm feeling self-conscious. Okay, I'm talking about myself. I'm looking at them and it's like ego, fake, they're lying. But they're real people. They're like real people with an asterisk, okay? Some of you guys know like a lot of stuff. Some of you guys know a lot of stuffs and relations and CIA stuff and, you know. So on the phoniness of, are they a real person? Or were they just propped up by the system? You know, I'll leave that to y'all. But Kamala Harris was born. I sound like her. What the hell am I talking about? She was talking about her life. That's how she started her speech off. And I'm listening to her, realizing that there's a lot of her. She really does relate to a lot of people. And she spoke about what happened in her home growing up and what motivates her today. What motivates her today. And I don't think she was lying about that at all. I think she was being quite clear. Watch Kamala once and now he's voting for her. It's over. She's real as and you know how phony people. She's real and as real as this because this is a bad example. She's as real as a liar. She's as real as a liar. Like a liar is still born and they become that way, and they had parents and they had influences and they got to where they are. As real as a fake microphone. She's as real as that. And there's a lot of people that she represents, okay? Single parents, broken homes, the things that influence your beliefs and motivations. She's maybe an airhead. She says a whole lot of nothing. Maybe she's not a good orator. I don't know. All pretty true things, right? We're unburdened by the things that, you know, there's a lot of meaning behind what she's putting there. Unburdened by the things that have been so that we can continue forward. She's talking about, we're done with all this kowtowing to America and sensibilities. Y'all are racist. It's done. We're moving on from you people. She talks about her family, and she's describing how she grew up, and she's talking about her dad and her mom, and how her mom was pretty protective. Okay, she was the scientist. She's like, she starts it off. She's like, my mom, I'm paraphrasing, this woman from India came to America as a scientist with the dream to end breast cancer. Anyways, then she moves on to like, she continues the speech, and it's like, let's just move on. We're going to move on from that. She didn't do that. But high ambitions, right? That's nice. Mrs. Harris, whatever your name was. Nice, high ambition. Right on. But she says she came to America trying to cure breast cancer. So anyway, she didn't, and then she doesn't say that. And she comes to America and meets her dad. They get married, and they have her and her family, her sisters and family and all that. And Kamala describes her mother being protective, like, you got to chill. Big paraphrasing. And her father, on the other hand, would tell her to run, Kamala. Don't, run as fast as you can. Do what you can. Always, be great. Fearless. Supporting her. Not telling her, be careful, stop. And then they split up. She was 7. They split up. And mom mostly raised by mom, and she goes into all of that. She goes into a little bit of that. They moved into a working class neighborhood. Her mother, it was tough. She had to save up money, but finally got an apartment in the East Bay. And she describes it. We lived, and when you go to the East Bay, you either live in the flats or you live in she says something else. Right, describing the poor and the rich area. And we lived in the flats, but we were proud, and everybody in that neighborhood tended their lawns with pride. I guess maybe I'm just laughing and nitpicking at things that I can't even prove, right? Judgmental Nick. He's like trying to say how we were just working class and we just really cared, even though we were poor, which is fine, I guess, right? I'm just saying nasty lawns in poor neighborhoods, whatever. And how she had to lean on a trusted circle, her mother. She had to lean on a trusted circle. And we weren't a family by blood, but we were by love. And that's what I mean by real. Like, so many families are like that. And how her father not being around, she goes into how she doesn't even quite say it like that. It's hidden because she says it like, my dad was the best. She may even believe that. Look, I'm just saying that. She goes on to describe how being raised by this family, by blood, that weren't by blood, but by love, how her mother had to lean on this trusted circle, showed her how we are all in this together. And this trusted circle, set up a lot of this mentality for her, that we're all in this together. And that you could be anything. Then she goes on about being anything, like lying to people. You could be anything. You could be anything. Imagine, that's one of the biggest lies ever. You could be, what are you being? What are you trying to be? What are you trying so hard to be? Be anything. You can't be anything. You don't even know what you are, who you are. But she was a 5-foot-tall brown woman, her mom, and how the world would treat her. She saw how the world would treat her. But she never complained about injustice. Instead, she would say to Kamala, don't complain about injustice. Do something about it. Do something about it. And to also never do anything half-assed. It's Friday. I'm allowed to say that. Which is true. I like that. That's like an old school mentality kind of gone. Doing stuff half-assed like that. It's cool. I'm sure it comes from a more decent time. But she said, do something about it, and that's why she became a lawyer. What a mess. That's why she became a lawyer, to do something about it. She had to do something about it, just like mom said. Which is another lie, just like the lie, like be anything. You could be anything. The lie that you could do something about it. That you have to do something about it, and do something about what? Injustice. Do something about injustice. An impossibility in a sense, other than like keeping the law, but even that is misused. Anyways, she talks about we're almost done. Look, 888-775-3773. Her best friend Wanda. I'm just thinking about it more, and actually it was quite interesting. Jesse's been trying to tell everybody for 30 years about the home. She becomes a lawyer, tries to save the world, right? And she talks about a pivotal moment. Her best friend, Wanda, was sad in high school. And she was like, why was she sad in high school? She didn't want to go home. She finds out her best friend, Wanda, was sexually abused by her stepfather. Right away, she had to bring her to her home. And it's the reason she became a prosecutor, she says. The reason is to protect, she says, to protect, because everyone has a right to safety, dignity, and justice. A right to that. It's just such a lie. It's just such a lie. Like the world can't even give that to you or can take it away. Only in your mind can that happen. Once you allow it, once you allow this really an idea to take away your dignity. Let's say even you were sexually abused. After that, after the act, it's really only your idea of it that's taken away your dignity. Even when the world is against you seemingly. They're against the whites, anti-white racism, which I believe, by the way. Like, well, you know, in the sense of like, they believe in racism, you can flip it on them. It's this very same spirit. They're so blind and evil. But the world's against you. They're conspiring against the whites. They got the Jewish media or something. They are taking away the dignity of the whites. How did you allow that? Yeah, I was talking about this Jewish writer. He was saying, "Oh, yeah, you're right, goys. You're right, Gentiles." He didn't. I'm paraphrasing. We are controlling everything, and we're going to keep doing it. You can't stop us, and we've subverted your very... He goes deep. He tries to get in there. We've subverted your very, like, world and warped it. It's like, whoa. What are you, God? No, you're not. Like, you could buy everything, but you can't you can't be here. You can't be in here unless I let you. Okay, look. This is interesting to me, okay? It's fascinating. Do something about it. She becomes a lawyer. The reason she becomes a prosecutor, in our system of justice, a harm against any one of us is a harm against all of us, she says. And that's why no one should fight alone. We are all in this together, she says. Justice, it's all of us. It's such a like literal inversion, like it's an inversion of this, what Jesus was talking about, right? Wasn't he saying something about that? What you do to the least. Who said that, right? Jesus said that? Who said that? Someone help me. Some Christian. Right? Jesus said that, right? Hello? I'm preaching right now. So you guys are falling asleep. So I got to, just like my preacher, just like the preacher I used to hear in church when I was a kid growing up falling asleep. He knew the crowd was falling asleep. He'd go like, hello? I'm preaching. Yes, Jesus said it. Thank you. Yes, loud. Jesus was talking about you. He was talking about you. Wasn't he talking about like you? Oh my God, look at the injustice that's happening to that person and all this other stuff out there. And no, we're all in this together. Let's hold hands against that person or that thing. He was talking about, you know how what you do to others, you're really doing to yourself? You know how you get irritated at people who, when they say, you know how you get offended at people? The only time you really get offended is when someone gets you. You know, they're kind of right, even if they're evil about it or something. Or something they're not getting, or putting out the wrong exactly. That's not exactly like that, or whatever. Yeah, they got you a little bit. Come on. And then, or you get irritated with people that doing wrong. If you notice that, examine that. You usually are projecting what you don't like, what you think is wrong that you've either done before or are still doing in some way. And you're like, dude, what the hell, man? Like, seriously? No grace? No, what's it called? You know, be easy on people right there. Everyone's in fallen state. It's all that. Jesus was talking about us. yourself. Okay. Anyways, those are the things on my mind. Look, it was fresh too because I was listening to it. Free and fair. Look, that's it. I'm done with that. Kamala Harris. It's so female, and it's beyond that. It's just such a. I'm calling it that. It's so feminine. It's so female. As a callback to what Jesse's been saying for 30 years, describing where hell comes from, what happened to men, and how to overcome that. Because it's not a blame thing. Oh, women, what the hell? No, this is this story for all of what's happening. This is what's going on Earth. Anyways, figure it out, bud. Appreciate the super chats. Let me do some of these super chats. I got a show for you. This was on my mind, but I actually do have a show for you. I have a show for you. Calls are coming in, 888-775-3773. Yeah. Super chats. Amazing. John, look, everybody's in first class, okay? Everybody's in first class. We're keeping the tickets. You're getting refunds. Not even refunds, okay? Because you bought tickets for your Friday. You know, you got basic tickets. You didn't get first. Not all of you got first class tickets, okay? It's pretty much free otherwise. But we'll make sure everyone's first class once we go back up in the air, okay? Once we're done with maintenance. We got union dues. Very nice. Delighted to be here. Harmony. Amazing ladies. The ladies are about it. Even if you guys get butthurt, even if they got whatever issues, I'm not even in the chat like that. But they're about it, paying their union dues. Sorry, ladies. As you know, union dues are going to go to whoever I choose to support, whatever candidate I support. Becca, thank you, says, nice haircut. That might have been from the other day. Is that a glizzy? No, these are from today. YouTube is saying today, but these look like old super chats. Either way, thank you, Becca. Terry Strange, that's a glizzy. Glizzy's in the chat. Nit broke his graphics card staying up all night, photoshopping pictures of him and Kamala holding hands. I'm obsessed. She's a total brat. And I'm upset. No. Thank you, Terry. Appreciate that. A little luggage. Right on. John Zimmer, appreciate the super chat, man. Says, once one goes, Kamala, the imagination becomes a tomb. Enjoy that. Suffer while all remains well outside of that mess. The imagination, our imaginations, whoever's imagination, maybe the anchor baby, who goes into that. Is that what you're talking about, John Zimmer? I've become a tomb for all of you. Beef it to be fit. Thank you for the super chat. Says Kamala is a standard plant eater. Eat beef. Eat tard. She's a standard plant eat tard. Eat beef. Do you guys need another more evidence? That's enough for me. All right, let's see here. Appreciate everybody being here. Okay, 888-775-3773. Let's rock a call right away. Then we'll get into this mess. We got somebody. Let me unmute. You're on the air. Your name and where you calling from. Test. Caller.
Hello?
Hey, you're coming in.
Hey, what's up?
You're on speaker or something. Sir, you might be on speaker.
Better?
Thank you. I think that's better.
Yeah, I just wanted to...
what's up?
To say that...
Welcome, CJ.
Yeah, what's up?
Welcome, sir.
Yeah, so yeah, it's actually it's a statute or the codified statute in California law that all criminal prosecutions must be prosecuted in the name of the people of the state of California. It's not like you get a choice.
Oh, sorry. Can you explain that? Because I remember Kamala saying something about that.
Yeah, she said, I choose to prosecute people in the name of the state because instead of the name of the victim, because when you hurt anybody, you hurt us all. And it's not you don't get a choice as a prosecutor. Like if you don't prosecute it in the name of the people of the state of California, it gets dismissed.
Okay. That's funny because she made us think about that, saying like, when I sat in the courtroom, I said 5 words, Kamala Harris for the people.
Yeah, that's how she would represent herself, but the actual pleadings would always be brought in the form of the people of the state of California versus so and so. Like, so there's a civil procedure law which says that every case must be brought in the name of the real party in interest. Which means, like, you wouldn't be able to necessarily sue somebody because they hurt your kid. You would have to sue in the kid's name as a parent ad litem. So that's the way civil court cases work, is that you need to use the name of the real party in interest. But it says, unless it's otherwise provided by law. And then in the penal code for the procedures, I think it's in the penal code, maybe it's the government code. It's been a while since I've lived in California. The penal code says that all criminal prosecutions must be brought in the name of the people of the state of California.
So the point being, like, that it's a big, making a big stink about representing the people is just, you're just following the state of California's laws.
Right. Every single criminal case says that the people of the state of California versus so-and-so, because it's been mandated by law for 150 years.
Interesting. And it's like, these are state of California, corrupt courts, the people they represent. Didn't where was the court case with that woman, Jane? What's the one that went after Trump? That was New York, right? Bergman, the one that Jane, whatever, the one that was said rape was nice or something like that on that show.
Yeah, she would have sued in her own name.
Jane, what was it? No, I'm just wondering about where it was. I thought it was California, and I was trying to describe just how corrupt the courts are, but I think that was New York.
Yeah, that was in California. That was in New York. Trump doesn't really hang out in California too much. Pretty much just New York, Manhattan, and Mar-a-Lago. But yeah, I'm not sure what that had to do with it. But anyway, yeah, like every single court case is brought in the name of the people of the state of California in California. Yeah, there's no choice about it. There's no reason for it. It's not like she came up with the idea herself. It's just what standard criminal procedure is.
Yeah, man. Are you seeing, like, totally through the charade and how it really does go back to what, bringing it back to just because we have a common thing to go back to, Jesse's been saying about the home, and this talk about the feminine nature is not it's here it is on display. Are you totally seeing through all that?
I just think it's funny that she has this whole story on how like she has decided to do. It's like the most basic of, I think, even most criminal defendants that have no education at all have figured out that every single court case that gets brought against them is the people of the state of California versus them.
Yeah, the equivalent of making your bed, I guess, and getting praise for making your bed.
And like, who would give you the right to sue somebody under my name anyway? Right? Like, and there's the complete myth that you can just choose not to press charges against somebody. Like, that's not true either. They don't need you to give them permission to find somebody violative of a crime.
Is there something you can say about, is there something that you can put into words, this like false sense of justice that gets presented here where being motivated by, for example, this abused friend, and that's why I need to protect the least of us. Are you catching on to something I'm trying to put out here? This false sense of justice where...
Yeah, Kamala Harris, it was after justice, man. She left people on death row knowing that she had exculpatory evidence and get them off, and that they were absolutely innocent, and she was going to watch them get killed until a court said, you need to give that evidence over, and then they all walked free. And she absolutely knew that they were innocent, and she was just going to let them die. And then she gave these people these other crazy sentences, and said that they could get out of them if they went and fought forest fires in California and pretty much put them into the most dangerous slave labor that is known.
You know, that's a good point, man.
Completely untrained prisoners are going to go fight like wildfire, not like do brush clearing, like prevention, like go and fight wildfires.
Yeah, with your hands. No. Beat them out with your hands. No
like
tools.
She was like one of the most evil.
But sir, my hands are singed. Sorry, I'm imagining it.
Yeah, she was like one of the most evil attorney generals like ever. Like she absolutely knew that these men that were on death row were innocent. She knew for a fact that they were, and she was like, "I will." And then they found out that she had the evidence. So the attorneys asked her for the evidence, and she said, "No, I'm not going to give it to you," until a court made her turn it over, and then they filed for to be released from prison because they were factually innocent. So she was just going to sit there and let them get the death penalty and die, just so her prosecution record wouldn't be tarnished with more losses.
You know, I'm not familiar with all that, but why I said you make a good point. You're making me think of just the warped sense of justice that she has herself portrayed. I mean, just look at the Black Lives Matter protesters and just her whole mentality on just criminals, letting criminals out. She has this idea of
keeping innocent people in prison. Maybe
and how their lives prior to the crime has anything to do with the warped sense of justice she can apply. Well, they didn't start at the same place. That really does. It is part of her.
She doesn't she doesn't care about any of that, man. She was so nasty about putting people in prison when, like, California used to, like, the Democrats used to be hard on crime, right? The Democrats are the ones that passed all the crack cocaine bills. It used to not, like, kind of a myth. It was all the black lobbyists that wanted, like, way harder crime punishments for all the crime that was happening in their cities. And so it was a supermajority Congress and Senate that passed all of the get tough on drugs bills that Bush signed off on.
That is interesting, man. That's informative. Thank you. I'm thinking about some clips I've seen of Biden even when he was pretty tough. He's these people, their culture, they're raised. He was saying some wild stuff.
Yeah, but even all the black leaders at the time were wanting tougher. Like, they didn't want their communities to be turned into absolute crime-ridden ghettos. But the will of the black man overcame the harsh punishment.
What a mess. Man, CJ, thank you for your call, sir. Anything else you want to say here before we move the wheels? Informative. Appreciate it.
No, take care. Adios.
Call me again, sir. Good call. 888-775-3773. We're in the chair, folks. We're in the chair. I'm leaned back. I got the lean on. I'm in a shirt. We're leaning, okay? We're still chilling on a Friday, even if we're in the chair, okay? How come I always lose? I swear I don't get any points. You know, the chat likes to keep score. The chat likes to keep score, and I'm batting zero in an increasingly antagonistic relationship with the chat. You guys are making me into an anchor man. Okay, what are we talking about? Look, whatever. I got someone, thank you for the coffee over there at buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby. D-Live, what's up? I'm just checking up on you now. How you doing, D-Live? Games for Rec, Hake Report, Misty with the top contributors. Rocking it on. Thank you. Rumble.com/AmericanAnchorBaby. Like, subscribe, do your thing. Oh. Hold up. Un momento. I'm just checking something. Punchy.tv. PUNCHIE.tv/anchorbaby. Look, you could put me in your pocket. You could lock your phone if you wanted to. Go full screen. And I think you swipe up and like minimize the video or something. You can lock your phone, put me in your pocket and listen to me. Punchy.tv. Okay. 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎. What a mess. We got Steve Strock. Hold up. Super chats, first of all. Thank you, Steve. Strock, how you doing, sir? Nick has officially fallen out of the coconut tree. What? You just fell out of a coconut tree? I forget the line. Yo, some of you guys in the chat, it's clear. You guys, what's the coconut tree line? Coconut tree.
What's wrong with you young people? You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
Yeah. Some of y'all in the chat just fell out of a coconut tree, and it shows. Okay. �𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎, you're so sad. Who's sad? It was supposed to be real. It was true love. It was supposed to be real. They rekindled what once was, unburdened by what had happened, ready to go into the future to what would be 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍� 2.0, the ultimate 𝒏𝒊𝒄. What a mess. The ladies in the chat are apoplectic. Maybe one. Yeah, I showed my husband a 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔 lore short. He loves me, so he puts up with it. That's love, 𝒔𝒐𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔. Okay, lore is important. People don't get that, and you got to know the lore. And sitting through lore is a special bonding thing. Okay, and that's a funny thing that 𝒔𝒐𝒊 is calling it lore. There's no normies in my chat. Oh, nah, never. We're all normies. Lore. So much lore. Okay, let's get to something, though. J-Lo. Look, I just wanted to mention this. Because... And if you're not ready to hear this and go like... If you're not ready to hear this and say, wow, that's like me, or it was, or whatever, then you know, I guess mute it or something. Okay, don't get excited. Because he's got a sad face. See, they got these sad faces. But anyways, they're doing a divorce, right? Jennifer Lopez divorcing Ben Affleck. And, right, she filed for it. She requested and all that. She's changing her name. I guess she was Jennifer Affleck. She really took on the name? No. She was, what was her name before this? Jennifer, it's is what I read earlier too, but not sure. She requested that she has her old surname back as part of her divorce petition. Jennifer Affleck, did she really change her name? She restored it to Jennifer Lynn Lopez, Daily Mail. Everyone knew her as J-Lo, but J-Lo part of loving the order, you think? Putting her best foot forward, wanted it to work. In her petition, Lopez has requested her name to be restored to Jennifer Lynn Lopez, dropping the Affleck name altogether. I'm wondering if it was hyphenated or something. Anybody got the deets? Now I'm really asking you to gossip. This is for the ladies. No, we're all going to learn here. Look, J-Lo. The couple did not sign a prenuptial agreement before tying the knot in July 2022. Insiders have revealed. It's all insiders, by the way. Some of this is like revealed in these documents in the divorce proceedings or whatever. And then it's a bunch of insiders, so please. It marks Jennifer's fourth failed marriage, Ben's second. Back to back. And they had kids, right? They've had kids between them. They have like 5. Right? 2 of hers, 3 of his. I mean, it's kind of... Yeah, we got 𝒔𝒐𝒊. I need your help here. Did she become J-Lo Affleck? Did you become Jaffleck, or did she stay J-Lo? Look, they tied the knot. 4th failed marriage. You got to wonder, you got to wonder. I mean, I guess, look, I'm sitting all high and mighty in the chair. Oh my gosh, I got a big old ego on me now. I'm in the chair. 0 marriages under my belt. But I'm saying, like, maybe I'm just privy to all the Jesse Lee Peterson calls. What an education we've been through, no? Have you been listening? And I got to, it's like after, let's say I have a marriage and kids and it doesn't work, I think it's time to move on to other chapters in life, maybe. Doing different things, like not marrying. You had the kids. You did your thing. Without a prenup in place, oh no, what a mess. Their individual earnings from the last 2 years, whether it be from film projects or major brand deals, would be community property. Now, what's that? Anybody know? Community property in marriage law? Community property. What is considered any income or any real personal property? So it's basically, it belongs to both of them. It belongs to both of them. So it's got to be divvied up. It's got to be figured out. It's got to be figured out in court, unless they agree. And if they don't, it becomes a fight, a legal one, and all that. Jennifer reported $400 million net worth. Boss. I got calls coming in. I will get to you. 888-775-3773. I don't have a call screener. If you're hearing my voice, you're on hold. $400 million net worth. Killing it. I mean, whatever. Put out 4 films since marrying Ben, including her $20 million self-funded project, This Is Me, Now, a Love Story. No. Which documents the couple's rekindled romance. Oh, J-Lo. J-Lo. Did you jump the gun and you put out a movie about it? This is me. Now. This is me, ... Now. You got to do the face. This is the face that you have to do. I don't know why. It's supposed to be strong. I've never seen it as strong. It's like this pout. It's always looked like theatric. But some girls are like strikingly beautiful, so, guys don't criticize stuff. But that's like that's kind of a ridiculous thing to do. If you didn't have cameras on you and your hair's like all like, and you were on the cover of something, and someone brought out their phone and was like, let's take a picture, and you went like this. I'd be like, what are you doing? I'm taking a picture. You know what I mean? Anyways, what am I talking about? She's divorce petition. She did a movie. And I'm trying to describe how it's like you put all your eggs in a basket. You're like, this is love. Let's even do a movie. Ooh. Oscar winner Ben reported net worth $150 million. I guess he's doesn't produce as much. He's laid back. He's done the movies. He did 2 films instead of 4. So it's complicating things. Let me move a little quicker. Whatever. They did movies together. They got divvied up. What a mess. They got the kids during their 2-year marriage. Okay, here. So they got these kids. They got all these kids. Well, Ben Affleck with a previous woman, Jennifer Garner. Lopez with Mark Anthony. Where was I? So I wanted to get to this. J-Lo, kind of like what these insiders are saying. Whatever. What a mess. Gossip. Are saying about why they're splitting, okay? And I'll get to the part let me get to the part that I wanted to mention. Why am I mentioning this? Besides, like, the mess that we keep repeating and the things we keep trying to make work and not growing up, in a sense, some of these details, it came to the children. It came to the children. And, they report here that J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez, turned Ben Affleck back into a family man. She was the one that encouraged him to be a family man. But then there was a rift because they're very different people. She's super public and wants to go out, and he's more of an introvert and is happy to hang out at home. And so it was a mess. And she, you see her, she's out there. She's always out there doing her thing. She's touring. She's doing this. And meanwhile, Ben's always looking like a mess. Just looking, frustrated in these pictures. And Ben is saying in these interviews, I don't like a lot of attention, he says. I don't like a lot of attention. And this is why people see me, and this is why I wanted to speak about this. Mainly this is what got me. And then, the mess between relationships, like, whatever, the lies that we tell ourselves, I guess. The lies of love, man, we could talk about that in a moment, but check it out. I just want to show you, they show you this guy's pouty face all the time. And it was that kind of had to be talking about it. Where is it? It'll hit if I show you his dumb face. Where are you, Ben? Come on. I know they got you with your mug somewhere here. We love Ben. Appreciate you, the calls on hold, 888-775-3773. What a mess. Here's speaking of pouting, speaking of what you should say, why do you have that face to? Here's one. When guys do this. Sad Ben Affleck. He's just so sad. He's just... And I don't blame you, man. She's a hell of a woman. A lot of hell in that woman, maybe. And anyways, he says in this Kevin Hart interview, just to move on quick, he says, this is why when I'm a shy, I don't like a lot of attention. This is why people see me and they're like, why is this dude always mad? Because someone had their camera sticking in my face and I'm like, okay, here we go. This is him. And then so he has this face. He's not mad, guys. He's not mad. Okay, you guys are just projecting that to him. He's just frustrated with the cameras. And it's like, okay, and I'm just like an introverted guy. Like, I don't like a lot of attention. And so that's the face you're seeing, okay? I'm not mad. Why is this guy? No, I'm just because like someone had their camera in my face and I'm like, okay, here we go. Kevin Hart says, you have resting bitch face. And he makes a joke. He goes like, bitch, why are you calling me that? Because it's a mess. No, imagine being a man with resting this face. And you know, how do I put this? Come on, people. You ever been there? You ever been there? You're like, I don't know. People just saying I have something on my face. People just saying I have something on my face. Okay, whatever. It's just you guys. That might be true in some cases, but look, they're bothering you because they're getting to you, and you're wearing your problems on your face. And even if it's just a simple frustration of, oh, here's another camera. No, this is why it's even a thing. Why I'm even talking about it. Man has no business, kind of like he has no business switching. Yeah, a man has no business having resting bitch face. Come on. No business. What a mess. No wonder she's divorced. No. Look, I'm sure it was a hell. I'm sure it's I don't know, hell. He's trying to stay in. She wants to be out. Hey, I told you to be a family man. You're supposed to be come on, let's be a family. All right, you're right, honey. I'm going to be a family man. A family man, like I said. Here I am being a family woman. Where are you? I'm making up a bunch of stuff, but anyways, maybe I should stop making up stuff. Let's just move on here. Women that want to change men, I'll be quick. Let me get to a call here. Women that want to change men, impossible. You're never going to get there. And if you get it in whatever way you think you do, you won't be happy. That's evil. You're evil. Men shouldn't have this face. Drama. Trying to make things work that don't. And you know what's funny about all this? She made a whole movie about it. And she's apparently, according to sources, feeling embarrassment. Like, I just don't know how this is going to look. A fourth divorce? How's it going to look on my career? You know what's funny about that? All you got to do is admit. You know what would be amazing? If you just admit you're wrong. That would actually, what can I look? How am I going to help the world? Please, maybe drop that desire. But if there's anything you could do here, out of all this mess, you can admit you're wrong and say, look, ain't that amazing? The things that we get into. I was wrong. And now the movie you put out and all this stuff you put into it, you could just drop it and move on. Okay, you were wrong. You were wrong. It wasn't love. We got a caller, though. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, it's Terry calling from Oregon.
Terry in the house. How you doing?
I'm distressed about 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎 breaking up again. I've had to live through this twice. I'm hoping I get a third time around with them, but I don't know.
The thrill. You want it back.
I really was rooting for them, Nick. Everybody was against them, and I just felt like it was such an open-hearted thing that they got back together. And I don't know. It really, I'm kind of in my feelings.
You want them to try a third time?
Yeah, maybe in 20 years they'll get it right. I don't know.
What the? Terry, you joking?
It's clear that they're very, very much care for one another, and it's clear that there's something there.
Like what?
I don't know.
Come on, you can describe it. Or are you having trouble?
No, I don't think that because they didn't work out that means that, there isn't love there or not.
That's literally what that means.
Is it?
By definition.
I think that they're, not suited to be married to one another because of their differences in lifestyle. I think Ben has, he's very temperamental and she's more outgoing, and they just don't suit as a couple.
There's probably a point there.
Haven't you ever dated someone that you loved, but you knew it wasn't going to be a compatible situation?
I don't relate. Everyone's always just, how do I put it? Looked past anything to be with me. No, that's a pure ego comment, but I was saying I don't relate. They've always looked past anything to be with me. Looked past it all. We're so different, but I need to be with him.
Yeah.
No, there's a point there. There's something to be said about, different person being so different like that. It's like, so what's bringing you together? Why do you want to be together so badly? Is it? And you're saying it's love. You're saying they care for each other. Maybe it's something else.
I think maybe that people feel deficient in certain ways, and they look to other people to fulfill those deficiencies.
In a sense. Yeah, there's something to be said about what you're saying there. I think it's like there's some room there. There's room there. Because let's say you're the type of person, how do I put it?
I also think that the press has hounded them and made their lives really miserable. And I don't think that they've made it better for themselves either. But I think they're in this kind of really difficult situation where there's a spotlight on them. They can't go out in public together without it being
but it's like love and purpose and all that. That you can't. Cameras, like you're not used to that. Oh my God, the media, they're lying about you. Whatever. It's like and the point I was trying to make. Yeah, maybe even incompatibility. It's an interesting thing to maybe consider. But it's like everybody's brought together by lust. There's a way to even work past that. You just got to be on the same team. Seriously. If you're dedicated to be on the same team, I think your differences can be worked. And it's like, what do you really want? What's really motivating? That's more important than anything in life, even as an individual unmarried. What you think about all day and what really motivates you in your heart, deep down in the ooey gooey. I want to, that's what matters. Okay. So you want to be on a team, you're going to do it. Anyways, rambling a bit, you're talking about the media and there's something I wanted to ask you, but you're talking about all the, I guess, troubles they had in their way. I guess to summarize what I want to ask you, you say you want to see them try a third time?
I want them to make it happen.
But you seeing the hell they're going through, and you thinking a third time might do it. Isn't that, you're saying you want him to do that hell again? Like, what are you missing here? What is it that you're missing? Because you think it's love in between them.
I think it's a lot of things, but I don't think that there isn't love there. I think, you mentioned her name. She did legally change her name to 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎. And she was attacked for it, actually, and she made a public statement, defending her reasons for why she took her husband's name. People were criticizing her for something.
That's not the world's fault. The world didn't make her react. The world didn't make her respond. If she had not responded, and maybe this is where the husband comes in, right? The husband's like, hey, what are you doing responding to the nasty world? You're never going to convince them. They're just going to tear you down. Why are you presenting all that to the world too? By the way, women love doing that. It's like the world didn't make her do that. She listened to the devil in her mind, and she put that out, only to be struck down.
I didn't say it did, but I wanted to just make that statement that she was, I thought it was nice that she did that. That she,
but the purpose of it, my apologies. It was being made out to be some kind of, anti-woman thing that she had taken her husband's name, which is normal, and we're so messed up as a society that we have all these women who are, in front of us married, but they don't have their husband's name. Look, but to be fair, the purpose of that statement to point out that she changed her name and that the world turned on her for that. The purpose was twofold: to say, isn't that evidence that she really loved him, and also and to kind of blame a little why it went wrong, the world. But let me reiterate, the world didn't make her react to the evil world like that. She presented that. And not only that, you may be right about the first part of the statement, but I mean, that's not even evidence. The real evidence we have is, look at the hell. They've broken up. That is like that. People talk about having love in the past. Like, no, I really did have love. It was love. Where are they now? It's like, I don't buy it. I don't. This was true love. This was true love. What I had, my high school sweetheart or whatever, brought to me by God. Where are they now? Till death do you part. I heard once.
Well, how many people stay married to someone they don't have any affection for or love for, and how many people
right.
I don't think that's all there is to it.
Let me answer your question with another question. The worst way of doing that: how rare is true love?
It is rare. It is rare. I don't think it comes from us. I think love is something that comes through us.
So it would kind of coincide with how little marriages work out. And or how broken families may be if the marriages stay and all that.
I just don't think they ever should have broken up in the first place.
Then it would have been. Did she have kids with Mark Anthony when they were together the first time?
He had kids with Jennifer Garner, and
she already did the marriage and the kids and all that. It was already a mess the first time around.
But then she and her true love rekindled. And
but what's love is not just a feeling. Love is not just something you say. Love has effect. Love is a light, and love has fruits. Love has fruits, and they're good and evident that they're good I'm communicating with you using that word, but love has fruits. It's not just something you could claim and say and feel. It produces results. I want results.
You want results.
Sorry, I mean J. Jonah Jameson. Bring me Spider-Man.
I'm devastated by this. I want results too.
Yeah, you want part 3 you want episode 3. You can't wait for episode 3. You little thrill seeker.
I'm not. It's not even my life. I'm not seeking thrills.
Exactly. What a mess. What a mess. That's like satanic, I think. It's not even my life. I just want to get from theirs.
I want them to be happy. I want them to have joy with one another.
I think that's a messed up desire.
You know, maybe it is, but I don't think you're being very nice either about it.
Hey, I want that. I'm telling Ben to stop with that stupid face. And if you see a guy with that stupid face,
it's not
do not
talk that Ben is a glum kind of guy.
Yeah, imagine being with a glum guy. It's just like, these cameras again. A complainer? Jeez.
Yeah, and she's such a, spirited, joyful woman,
Oh, gosh. Imagine me with a spirited, joyful woman. Can you stop? I want some peace. 14-hour days. Well, although she works a lot too, right? Which is another mess, Like, you want to build a big life, whatever. That's like one thing, but you gotta like, you can't just like have a life. Maybe some people can, but you can't just have a life like that. You gotta kind of be in that world. You gotta be in her world a little. And whatever. Terry. Well, we'll wait for episode 3. I'll be here.
I know. Well, I'm rooting for them regardless. I hope this is all just a fluke. But who knows? Who knows what will happen? I don't think they're going to be happier without one another.
No. So false happiness, you love it. What a mess, Terry.
I don't want false
You got to overcome. That's a lie. You love it. The feelings. Hey, Terry, anything else you want to say about this before we move the wheels?
Yeah, you're totally wrong and cold-hearted.
Oh, come on. Because I won't go along with lies. Come on. Isn't that like really loving?
Wait, let's be real. Nobody really knows what the truth is. We're not in these people's
They
lives.
are breaking up. The man's face is plastered all over. He's a mess. See, their children. His kid is trans. His kid is trans. He's saying
that's her mother's fault.
He's right. He let J-Lo turn him back into a family man, letting another woman yet again after your mother, Ben Affleck, recreate him. What more do you want?
I want him to overcome his, issues.
Nice.
And, be the man that Jennifer Lopez needs him to be.
No, that she already has a husband. Time to move on. Time to figure it out, bud.
To someone else now too. What a world we live in.
Time to figure it out, bud. Terry, call me again.
Yeah, have a good night.
Bye-bye. 888-775-3773. Yo, I'm loving the commentary on compatibility. I was feeling the same thing, fellas. Let's go. Yeah, I'm not taking stolen valor. No, I was saying that. I was feeling the same thing, this compatibility thing. Like, do you want to be a team or not? This is me, baby. Sorry. Like, I'm sorry, not sorry. Do you want to be a team or not? I'm not telling you to change. I'm just telling you we got a business plan, and I need you in this seat executing the business plan. Okay? I'm not telling you to change. Compatibility. We're so alike. We're so aligned. Ladies. He's got to say stuff that make you go. He's got to say sometimes, at least every now and then, he's got to say stuff that's like that makes you go, ooh, I wouldn't say it like that. Oh my gosh. He's gotta. Oh, stop it! Like, oh my gosh, you're gonna get us in trouble. You're gonna get us on a government list. Stop. Okay, maybe that's too far. No, this is Carver. No 5-year business plan on the first date. What a mess. All right, let's keep it rolling. We got more. I know I talked about Bennifer. Let's talk about something here in a sec. Let me rock another call. Hey, we're leaning back. We're in the chair, but we're leaning back. It's Friday. Let me pull up the laptop closer. Look at me. What a mess. I got the shoes off. You don't even see. You wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even know. Let me see what's going on in the chat. All right, let's rock another call. We got somebody on the air. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yo, it's Jaime from Minnesota.
Jaime, on the air. Appreciate it, sir.
How you doing, Nick?
All is well. All is well.
It's another beautiful Friday night.
We're leaning back, baby.
Yeah. Hey, I wanted to talk to you about the Bolsheviks. You remember those guys?
Yeah, the Bolsheviks.
Over there in Russia. And how the Bolsheviks had a bunch of different parties in there, kind of like the Democrat Party does now.
Oh, they had a whole bunch of what again?
Different sections of parties, you know.
So they were atomized, the Bolsheviks?
Yeah, they were the left, you know. But there were Bolsheviks, there were agrarians, and there were some other, like 3 other main groups, all united for the Bolshevik plan. And they were gonna, all rule together. But what happened was the Bolsheviks, led by Lenin, took control, and I believe they imprisoned those other guys, those other political leaders in the other groups, killed them or sent them to the Gulag.
I'm so ignorant. Yes, I've heard of this.
Yeah. So the Bolsheviks, their opposition, their main opposition was the White Army, which was another group of, different groups that were more on the right. But
so jailed opponents.
Yeah, they lost the votes or their elections.
The Bolsheviks did?
No, the White Army.
Gotcha.
But then, once the Bolsheviks came to power, they destroyed the people that were helping them. You know,
these other leftist parties that you described earlier.
Right. And so it's a lot like Black Lives Matter, the feminists, the LGBT. They're all those groups. What else? The Latinos for the Democrats. The Native Americans, they got a group over there that the left now is saying that they're going to help. It just kind of looks like Bolshevik Russia coming back again. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It's an interesting commentary. I think especially because the real, the looming, not to be so like, I don't know. Look, the looming reality of like people coming into power that will not relinquish it as much. These are the people saying it, right? Don't let Trump come into power. He's going to be a dictator. He's going to be a dictator. He's not going to give it back up. The peaceful transfer of power. These are the people who are, there's a real shot to, a real line to, you never can vote out what's about to come in. You won't be able to vote out, or at least not easily, what's incoming.
Right. And that was in the 1920-somethings that the Bolsheviks came out on top. And they lasted for a beautiful, 40, 50 years? Not until 60s, 70s, when Russia, the USSR, broke down.
Something like that?
Was the 80s? 50 years of Gulag. Beautiful, right?
91, actually.
91. 60 years. 65. But then a great man, Putin, comes. The Christ.
The Christ.
The Messiah. And destroyed
of the region. Asterisk. No, I'm joking.
Destroyed the USSR. But I was thinking about that. It's a neat theory.
Man.
Not that it's ever going to, they're never the same.
Revealing a little how ignorant I actually am, but the parallels can be drawn. What can I say? Parallels. And it's like realer than ever. I would hear about globalism and you can't vote out what's coming, but it's it's essentially an election away. Depends how you look at it. The Bolsheviks. I was going to ask you something about that. Darn. Oh yeah, you were saying there was like other leftist groups that eventually the communists in the Soviet Russia, turned on, collapsed on, and can you? In what way? In what way do you mean? Like they went after them? Like what? Politically? Like they jailed them? I mean, I know it was a crazy time.
They sent them to the different gulags.
Oh right, you said. And can you say how the left is like that here in America? Because Black Lives Matter and maybe more radical elements.
It's early.
Would you? In what ways would you see the Democrat Party divided? I guess.
Well, they're dividing into those groups: BLM, LGBTQ, the Hispanics, the Vota Latino.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know what the main one would be. Who the Lenin is of today. It ain't Biden. It ain't Kamala Harris.
Oh, okay.
Could be Chuck Schumer.
Still incoming. The Antichrist.
Right.
Do you think we're in the end times?
No. The end times already happened.
Oh, interesting. I think I heard you talk about that.
Yeah. Revelations, that all happened.
Fascinating, sir. I forgot I was going to ask you.
Oh, hey, can I tell you about the union, the garbage union, that garbage riot union?
Okay, go ahead.
That Hake was talking about, showed that video. Garbage trucks back in those days, you'd have a guy hanging on the back while the guy drove and went to each place, and you threw the garbage in there, and then you'd compact it. That big thing would go compact it. And I believe it was not pneumatics. It was oil pressurized to crush that stuff. But if you got a leak or a slow leak from those tubes, those plastic tubes, rubber tubes, or whatever tubes they were made out of, those things wouldn't work right. And they're supposed to fix them. When you get a truck that's in disrepair, but they may not have fixed them when the driver of those things maybe wrote up something and say, hey, this needs to be fixed. Because those drivers, they don't fix those. They have the mechanics to do that.
Right. You probably got to set up, write it in the maintenance book.
Right.
It got missed. And you're talking about like the hydraulic systems and all that, right? That operate the heavy parts of a big old garbage compactor.
And if they fixed it but they didn't fix it right, and then the garbage man the next day goes and runs that machine, and it pops off, and you get crushed by it. The company's liable 100%. And a man, especially a working man with family, the value to them here on Earth is the money that they bring in. Food, housing, clothing, if they want to go get educated. That's what a man's worth. And so the company is liable to pay the family that money, especially if it's in the union contract.
And so all this to say that man, because you're describing a story that happened, right? Some man was killed in some accident. He was a garbage man, and he was a black man, no? And they used his story to make some kind of conclusion, didn't they? You're saying that his family should have been compensated.
Right.
And he wasn't. His family wasn't compensated. Is that true?
Is that what happened?
I don't know.
I'm sure he did get compensated.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure they did.
I gotcha.
But what do you think?
Is a company liable for an accident like that? I don't know, man. I really don't know. I mean, if you could prove it, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense on paper. I don't really have an issue with that. I'm not a lawyer or haven't really thought about it that well. But is a company liable? I mean, on its face, I think so, yeah. I mean, if you could prove it, right? If you could prove it was like, some problem with management or something that got left behind, some process that contributed to a dangerous workplace. I think so.
And that's what unions help to do, is to make the work environment better for the worker. Whereas
I gotcha.
the workers...
Did you, just to be quick, just because of time, did unions also not do that, though? And use lawfare to... And used like, hey, we need to make the workplace safe, but actually we're just corrupt, or you know what I mean? On a civil rights, they're on a civil rights bend,
Yep.
and they did evil things.
Yeah.
Did they also do that?
Unions.
Okay.
The government unions and the teachers unions.
It's a tool. Is that what you're saying? The unions are a tool. It's how you use them. Hey, Hyman, appreciate your call, sir.
Yeah.
Appreciate your call, sir. Can you, anything else you want to say real quick?
No. Have a good weekend.
Call me again, sir. 888-775-3773. Can we talk about something? And I do see calls coming in. If you're hearing me, we have no call screener. If you're hearing me, you are on hold. Okay. We'll get back to calls. Let's see here. Did I say thanks to 𒒏𝒂𝒎 anchor baby? Amerikansk? Is that some funky language? Amerikansk? Thank you for the super chat, Becca. The anchor baby. Let's see what else here. Yep. 888-775-3773. Look, they're talking about the gamers. Let's talk about the gamers. Who's gaming? Some people are probably gaming right now. Playing video games. So unattractive. So unattractive, says some, okay? And it's going like viral. It's a conversation that, it's going around on X.com. I think it was triggered by this post here by this Liz Wheeler, host of the Liz Wheeler Show, author of Hide Your Children, Exposing the Marxists Behind the Attack on America's Kids. Is this a right wing? I think she may be right wing. I don't know. She might be conservative. No woman is conservative. Liz Wheeler may have kicked off a firestorm, 18 million views. She shares a little image. It's a graph with stats. Uh-oh. Hard, cold data that women find video games unattractive. In fact, find them the least unattractive of all things. She shares this graph and she writes, this is 100% true. Men playing video games is peak unattractive. Beyond red flag, like deal breaker zone. It's weird that so many dudes don't get this. Like, nobody gets this, you bunch of gamers. You're so lame. How are you going to get a Liz? Look at Liz. Liz Wheeler. Yeah, unattractive, fellas. Very unattractive. And that video games beats collecting figurines, magic tricks, online trolling. That's really a hobby of men? How did this get on the list? Gambling, building model trains. We can't have anything? Model train guys are awesome. I don't know, actually, but they're probably awesome. Taxidermy, that's pretty cool. I used to know a girl who did that. She'd find roadkill and literally do taxidermy. It was interesting. Comic book collecting, bird watching, you bunch of losers. Bird watching. These are the top 10. What? Top 9? I can't count. I might be having a medical emergency. Okay, 9. Things they don't... look at this and look at the unattractive score. This is very, very scientific stuff on the unattractiveness score. So she shares this. She's saying it's a red flag. Very gross. You know, it's funny. I had this before. I got a community notes. Her post got a community notes. her post got a little community notes from X to clarify the fake news here. And so we'll get into that in a second. Let me see here. Because I found similar research on this topic. The ladies, they don't like it. It's very unattractive, okay? But turns out this is like fake news. This graph might not even be real. There's no source provided for the reported finding. And the percentages are rounded evenly to the nearest multiple of 5. Look, before I show you that, look, I saw this, and this is what I was thinking about. On the video game question, how unattractive it is, and all that. And what they say, what the world might say, what some might say, what some might call beta older people that, maybe you respect or something, whatever. They might call it beta or whatever. Here's the thing, a couple things. What's missed about this is how should we start? Let's start with this. The generational cohort thing. See, the video game thing it's really a generational thing. It's really an age thing, okay? You got to understand something. Let me explain. This graph was shared, and it's fake, and the reality shows something a little interesting. The real research on it turns out, how should we start? Let's just read the community notes. I think that'll help. There is no source provided for the reported finding, and the percentages are rounded evenly to the nearest multiple of 5, which is implausible. The origin of this image is from a TikToker making a joke post about them being bird watchers. Other surveys show different results. And And so they share this thing from Instagram showing the different results. Let's see here. Showing some of these different results. Hold on, sorry. Where was I? Basically, look, a whole bunch of women play video games. Duplicate this. A whole bunch of women play video games, okay? Out of the online population, these are just different surveys, okay? Bunch of different surveys. They call it a global gamer study in one part, and there's another one too. But big what do they call it? Test sizes. Out of the total online population, 72% of women play video games. That figure is 81% for men. Out of the total cohort that says they play video games, 45% are women. And amongst even those, 36% of women consider themselves gamer. That's from a different survey. And I'm trying to make this point that it's like a age thing. It's a generational thing, okay? And what people are into. It really just changing is all it is. There are different aspects here, but I'm trying to describe one so far. It really is it's a generational thing. And the older generation may have some points there when they call out the gamers for being beta. But what gets me is the LARP from a little bit. Like, there's different, look, I'm trying to describe how there's different people. And yeah, there's some people who are just literally not gamers. They're not interested in it. They've never really played video games. They didn't grow up like that. Joel's kind of like that. No, I think he's totally like that. He may have played a little, 2K? Maybe he played some 2K, some Madden, some sports games. He's not really a gamer at all. And so, yeah, there's different people. But some of you guys grow up with video games and maybe play them less, but you don't dislike the video games. You don't dislike them. And so you can look at the older generation and be like, you know what, you have a point. But don't stop with the LARP where you jump over to the other side and you start wagging your fingers like you didn't grow up. Like you didn't grow up in this generation and not that one. You know what I mean? They're different ways of entertaining. Essentially, it's really just a generational thing, and there's a lot of attention on the younger generations because, well, the eyes are on them. The eyes are on them. Look, the problem is not gaming. It's like the issues of the generation are on display. All eyes are on them. And it's kind of a negative loop because you got the parents tripping out. Like, wait, something's wrong here. Why are you gaming so much? And guilt is involved. Like, it's bad. There's problems. But it's not video games. Okay? Men got to figure it out. Men have to figure it out for sure. And, but some of my thoughts on that, on the generational LARP and the different ways we entertain ourselves. The problem is being adult children, unable with no self-control. Here's another thing I'm trying to describe. Like, look, you probably know people who play way too much video games and have essentially maybe even ruined their lives wasted their lives playing video games. Yes. Yeah, a lot of people waste their lives. This is just another fresh new way the world is giving you to do so, okay? And who has life to waste? The younger generations who are playing video games. Okay, I get it. What a mess. Let me see here. Well, life to waste. What was I saying about that? What was I saying about that? Yeah, you get that point, right? It's just different generations. Look, the younger women are playing games. They got their own thing. Women have always complained about men's hobbies. They've always complained about men's hobbies, okay? Either trying to make them stop and be a family man. It's time to be a family man. Or try to join them and weaken it, okay? And go into men's spaces. And I'm not saying that the men have always been into the best hobbies, okay? But the women have always not liked it, okay? Gambling, drinking, voting, and other things, okay? They've never liked men's hobbies, okay? And who cares what women think anyways? Women don't hate video games. They hate the weakness in men. And when they see the weakness in men, they overreact. And they don't know how to handle it. And it's big time on display with the gamers. So what else? What else to say about this? Whatever. These are my thoughts on it a little bit. Because everyone's talking about it. And they're trying to make this... they're blaming the wrong thing, okay? It's a misdiagnosis. I got to point it out. And there's obviously good points made by the ones finger wagging at the gamers. And yeah, the gamers are betas, man. Come on. They're betas. But you grew up like me. So a lot of people, games changed and now they've become as messed up and woke as there's a lot of drivel out there, but at the same time, they've become way more interesting than ever in some respects. We can have a whole plantation. Where Jesse Lee Peterson tries his best to spread forgiveness around the planet. What else? What else about this? And no, I'm not just saying this because someone super chatted and called me a beta for playing video games on stream. Anyways, whatever. I'm just rambling at this point. Not really. I'm not really trying to defend the worst parts of the gamers. By the way, that's evident. But please don't take this as dating advice. Like least attractive hobbies for men and women. Like, why are you trying to be attractive to women in that way? It's just a path full of misery. Be a man. How about be a man? And what else? Yeah, don't take this as don't make any conclusions of this. The gamer rift, that whole thing is a generational thing. But you know what? A big asterisk on everything so far. There's something to be said maybe about what younger generations literally are blind to. I may be calling something pretty nasty. I may be belittling, I guess, something that is maybe a pretty dark trend in the world. You know how like the world just gets used to stuff, and this trend of entertainment and just dominating your time and attention. There's something to be said about that. I may be being a little too glib, a little too millennial zoomer about it. So, you know, shout out to the finger waggers. Anyway, I've said enough about this, right? Let's get to a call. We got somebody on the air. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yo, Nick.
You're on the air. Welcome.
Hello, bro. This is Galahad from California.
Thanks for your call, sir. You're on the air.
Thank you. Well, I wanted to talk to you about Russia. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Can we make a timeline? Do you know when the perestroika was signed? The 90s, right?
No, I didn't. I don't know when. Which one?
Can we search it up? The perestroika by Gorbachev.
Gorbachev, and what was it that was signed?
In the 90s, in Russia, the perestroika. That
I'm not following that word you're saying. The para what?
Perestroika. It's a Russian name. It's a treaty in which they brought down communism in Russia. That's when the modern state started with Russia. That's when Russia. Well, that's how the Cold War ended, right?
Gotcha. You're educating me a little bit.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think the Americans
perestroika.
Are
Perestroika. Oh.
Perestroika, yes, sir. So once that happened, about 30 years ago almost, the Russian state became a modern state with capitalism in it, and they started to progress to become a world power once more through this new regime headed by, well, it wasn't Putin at first, it was later, but you know that was the first step. And that time, the American government started to have relations with Russia again, right? Mm-hmm. With Bush and Clinton and all that stuff. But also at the same time, America has been having this one polar of power in the world strategy. They don't want anybody else to share power with America. And they started they created NATO, and they started to, subscribe a bunch of ex-Soviet countries to NATO all around Russia's border. You can search that up. How many countries signed to NATO since the 90s? And they're all ex-Soviet countries. So they started to gain ground and put in bases all around Russia in this time. The only country that didn't have a base and was forbidden to enter NATO was Ukraine, because, Russia was getting a little nervous about having a wall of bases and missiles in their former territory. So in 2016, NATO funded a coup in Ukraine, and they supported the neo-Nazi party.
What were they called? The Maidan?
I don't remember their name, but
Maidan Revolution, right?
I think, yeah, it was like the Orange Revolution, it was called, like, popularly. And that was American interference in a former Soviet country, which is the last country that didn't have an army base from America, building that missile wall around Russia.
Can I interject and ask a question about that?
Yes, sir.
Because I like the recap of history, and I've arrived to this part here where, the Ukraine and the region you're talking about basically had like the Maidan Revolution, and they had a breakdown in politics, and the claims of America's involvement. Some say it's obvious their involvement, but because of my ignorance, how do you know that? I guess how do you know that? Because you won't find this on Wikipedia. I guess that America was involved in overthrowing basically like the fair, free elections that were happening in Ukraine, essentially, right?
I believe there were American ambassadors and senators doing speeches in Ukraine at that time, supporting fully the neo-Nazi party.
And
so they overthrew
that's evidence
the
of what
government.
you're describing.
Yes, sir. And so they illegitimately overthrew the government in that country, and they started Americanizing that country, and which is a new country. I think Ukraine has like 60 years of existence. Before that, they were a different empire. They were part of the Soviet Union. It's relatively a new country, so it was like a fictional country that
So
just
to
a
reiterate,
remnant of,
American politicians making speeches supporting the opposition in that government lends to this theory, and I say theory, maybe inaccurately, but this might be a proven thing. I'm just ignorant myself. This lends to this claim that America was for sure involved in overthrowing meddling in the elections of Ukraine in this time. It was American politicians supporting the opposition. Okay. Do you have any more, by the way? I'm not doubting it, essentially. I'm just truly ignorant. I've heard this before. So any more proof that America meddled in those elections?
Well, I don't have it myself, and it's a 4-hour documentary made by Oliver Stone, the movie director from Platoon and all that stuff.
Oh, Platoon.
Oliver
We're doing
Stone,
The Village. Fair enough. I don't want to. Sorry to trip you up. Keep going. You were at the Maidan. You were talking about all that.
Yeah. So once they overthrew the country, the government, the Ukraine society started to Americanize in a way, but not in the let's protect freedom and property way, but in the let's make everybody a homosexual and degrade the Orthodox values, Christian values that they hold over there in that side of the world. I don't know if you know, but after they overthrew communism in Russia, Christian Orthodoxy is the main religion over there. They also have Muslims and they have freedom of religiousness, but mostly they are Catholic and Orthodox Christians. So they are pretty against, the whole LGBTQ movement over there. They see somebody with a rainbow flag, they'll rip it out of their hands, right? So they started like degenerating the whole society over there. They put up an illegitimate government and system. And then they started the government and the people in Ukraine started to say they wanted to join NATO too. And, that means American military bases with missiles in Ukraine, which is the last country that was, up for grabs, and that Russia was, because what Russia said is, who is the enemy? Why are you putting American bases all around my borders? Right? Like, you don't see a Russian missile base in Mexico or Canada, right?
Fair enough.
So that's the whole thing. So Russia had to step in. And in those revolutions in Ukraine, there was a lot of killing, and they had to go into the eastern part of the territory just to there was a democratic process that they had to oversee, and they were voting for Russia. So the thing is, your American government does not say anything about this, because every time in election time, it is a popular idea to say that Russia is your enemy.
Right.
But
and to bring up what you're bringing up is to kind of put doubt into their actions in that region. And this proxy war, you would put doubt, because you'd then have to reveal to the public that there were ultimatums, that Putin put ultimatums saying, hey, look, I don't want to fight, I don't want a war, but you keep bringing NATO closer, you keep doing this and that, blah, blah, blah. But Galahad. Exactly. But yeah, right. And then they try and demonize these people. I love how Trump put it, man. And he's such a man of peace. He said, these dictators, whatever, they try and make them so scary. I'm paraphrasing. But they're not really the big bad enemy. The true enemies are within, are domestic. They're here in the government.
Exactly.
These people over there, these big bad people who are the dictators are trying to take down democracy over there, they can be dealt with, he's saying. Deals can be made. These people don't really want all this chaos and calamity. They're fending for their countries. He said it so well too, that these are just men. And you see Putin, Xi Jinping, whatever you want to say about them. These are the men. That's the lead. Those are the leaders of their nation. You see them shaking hands with these losers like Antony Blinken. These people are the leaders of their nation. And Trump said so well, these people just want to lead their nation. They just want prosperity. They just got to do what they got to do. If we can make deals, they're not these enemies that they want to make you think. But to kind of play a little devil's advocate with you, don't you know, Galahad, that Russia must be kept down historically in Europe?
No.
In Europe historically, there's a balance of power, and the Russia of the East must be kept down by their historic brothers / rivals, the Kaisers, the Germans. See, historically the Germans were the gate of Russia, and they kept their power in check. But where's Germany now? Somebody's got to keep Russia in check. And I'm just messing around. I don't want war in the world, but I'm making a case for America's hegemony. I just don't like who's holding power in America. I think they're absolutely evil, and I don't trust them.
That's the thing. Like, we cannot have one polar world dominance hegemony, because that could be very dangerous, as you can see right now in your own country. That in our own, in America, it's very dangerous. And the thing is that America has been doing it through war, through destabilizing countries, through funding, coups. Here in Latin America, they have done it like for the last century. They've done it. They've killed presidents. The CIA has been involved, and we all know it. It's been proven. It's historical in all of our countries that America has been killing presidents and putting their own. And what Russia and China are really doing, they're just looking for their own interest. But America doesn't want anyone else to have any power. But that's exactly what we need: a multipolar.
Whatever, man.
Power
Go invest in BRICS. I say we dominate the world with King Trump and bring peace, force peace on the world with strength. I mean, because Germany is not there to keep down the beast of the East. Now the dragon of the East is
without Russia.
I'm talking like an old.
Germany.
I'm basically talking like an old English king. I'm LARPing a little bit.
It's crazy, man. We need counter balances. Power checks. Checks and balances, right? That's exactly what every government needs, and a world government needs to have a multipolar system. But if America got their way, I don't know what would happen, especially with what's going on with the Democrats, right? So Trump is very aware of this, and they know that the only real threat in the world is the ideological threat of jihad. That is a whole different thing, and that's why you see that your own government is still pouring millions into that, just because they know that if the jihad people, they get their hands on nuclear bombs, that is a whole different story than a two Christian fronts, which is America and Russia. Between America and Russia, they'll hold all the bombs, and there hasn't been anything going on. But the jihad people, that's the other side of the coin. And Russia knows it, and they are clear about it, and they know that they are your allies. They know it, and they know that they just use these narratives to control your population, to create an imaginary enemy for every election, and to justify the whole war machine that they got going on all the time. So, why are we spending billions of dollars? Oh, because, we have to control, the enemy of Russia and all that stuff. And they don't even need your taxes. It's not even your taxes. They're funding that through inflation, keeping your country poor, keeping your people on food stamps, opening up the borders so it keeps barbarizing. I don't even know what America is doing right now. It's a whole barbarization of your own country. They're destabilizing the world. And they're creating imaginary enemies. They're funding wars that need not be funded. If you people wouldn't have sent the tanks and all those things over to Ukraine, it would have been over in 3 days. But they want to keep it going because you're selling the ammo, you're selling the weapons, you're selling the tanks, and it's all that evil. That's the evil that's going on.
Well, yeah, their strategy. You know, they even say they've said it out loud. Their strategy. You know, remember they were saying, "Well, we got to stop the Hitler of the East. He's trying to. You can't do that anymore." But then Lloyd Austin and that other guy, Lindsey Graham, come out and say, "We're depleting the Russian military." Wait, hold. Anyways, you know, it is it is war. It's strategy and depleting your enemy and hegemony and power struggles is what's going on.
But what is China and Russia doing? They are investing in other countries. They're you know, in El Salvador they build libraries, bibliotheques. How do you call this? You know, they invest in other countries. What USA does, they kill presidents, they fund coups, they fund wars.
Star energy. Let's go, America.
You know what I mean? So Trump didn't do that. He was not about that because he was more about not enslaving your own population, giving free market, lowering taxes. You know, Trump is not about that. He knows it's about peace and having a multipolar world. That is the only thing that could save us from total chaos. And it knows it's about uniting the Christian fronts, which are America and Russia, against the ideological threat, which is jihad. So,
Possibly.
If the Israelis are the front lines right now, they're getting killed every day, and they're going after Iran. When they shot Trump, they said, "Oh, it was probably Iran," and they're throwing Iran a lot, and with the Hezbollah thing, because there are 80,000 armed jihadists over there. So it's about uniting the Christian front with America and Russia. And stop with this nonsense of like, hey, we're gonna dominate the world through force. Instead,
somebody got to
dominate by creating. They have to do it through allies. They have to invest in people instead of like submitting people. And that's what Russia and China are doing. That's where they are gaining ground. And the other side, America, it's all about degenerating society, enslaving the people, barbarizing society. What has been done to Europe, it was done through America. All of those wars in the Middle East, that's all the people migrating to Europe, and that's what barbarized Europe right now, and that's the problem you see in England right now.
Gotcha, so, Galahad. Because of time, any last comment you want to make on this?
Gaming is cool. And just watch that episode. The Oliver Stone. He's an American, and he has 4 hours on it. I just wanted to share with your public. Vote Trump, and let's go America. I love America.
Let's go, sir. Sure. Appreciate your call, Galahad. Call me again.
Have a great day. Bye bye.
888-775-3773. Who's seen Platoon? You ever seen Platoon? Platoon, man. I remember I used to have this server. There was a server at this place I used to work at. I was a cook. And I really wasn't like, he was just really sensitive, I guess, like kind of liberal, I guess the point. I would do this French accent, like French Canadian accent, and you get all butthurt about it. Anyways, I'd be like, Kyle, you think I should make I'd be like, hey, Kyle, you think this is a bad Facebook profile banner? I would say to him. And then I'd put my phone in his face, and it's this scene from Platoon where the little Vietnamese girl is being freaking, come on, touch with the Barnes crosses the line, okay? Barnes crosses the line a little bit, okay? He crosses the line, okay? And he holds a gun up to that little Vietnamese girl. And it was war, okay? It was war. Vietnam, it's that war. War ain't never pretty. Anyways, Platoon. They went around burning the village in that movie. And that's what we would call doing Rush. When we'd get through Rush, or when the Rush would come at the restaurant I worked at, and we got ready and all the tickets started coming in, that's it. I'd tell the boys, all right, boys, it's time to do the village. We're doing the village, bud. And then we get into it. And we do the village. And we'd set that village on fire. And we do our job despite all the screaming and crying Vietnamese voices of sounds, their screams. We do the village, okay? And that's a joke. We're doing work. We were putting out food. We weren't killing anyone, okay, YouTube? And Platoon, yeah, whatever. Platoon. It's a fine movie. A fine movie, I think. What was I going to talk about next? Let's see here. Wow, it's that much time has passed, huh? Nick, you wrong for that. All right, what else do you want to talk about? Oh, folks, thank you so much for the calls. I wanted to mention, what else did I want to mention here? Let's get into Tom Brady. You know, quarterbacks were mentioned earlier. I'll be quick with this one. Quarterbacks were mentioned. If you heard, quarterbacks were mentioned on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, I think. And about, you know, it was, did you hear it? It was like about, it was about, were blacks created to be subservient to whites? Remember that topic came up? There was a caller on the Jesse Lee Peterson show who had said that on Joel Friday TV. And he said something about, he agreed with Mark. You guys know Mark. He agreed with Mark about, and I forget how that conversation really went. Maybe I feel like it was a little bit more nuanced, but he did essentially say that, right? Mark pretty much said that. No, he full on said that yeah, he thinks blacks were created to be serve the more advanced race, the whites. I don't know if others were included there in his hierarchy of races, but the analogy was brought up. Well, you know, we got to be happy with their role. The blacks aren't the quarterbacks. The blacks are something else. And then the question was brought up. Well, no, I mean, anybody can be a quarterback. Calm down. And it's like most of the NFL players are black, right? They're pretty much all. Most of the quarterbacks are black, right? Well, actually, it turns out no. It turns out black quarterbacks are a little rare, at least according to what Hake said, 17%. What percentage of NFL quarterbacks are black? Approximately 29% of the starting quarterbacks in the NFL are black, according to a cursory search on ChatGPT. Be careful. But okay, rarer than I thought, sincerely. I thought it was like 90%. Okay, I sincerely thought that. And so that was a funny thing. And just 2 days ago, it just so happens, we're talking about quarterbacks and all that. It just so happens Tom Brady basically said that the other day. Okay, I'm joking. He didn't say anything like about black people or anything like that. But he is warning, you know, he's being vocal about some criticism, some warnings. He's saying Tom Brady rips NFL teams for handling of rookie quarterbacks. Essentially, he's criticizing the NFL for their decline in quality of quarterbacks. And he's blaming the soft approach from the NFL on the rookies. He's saying he's calling them rookies. Okay, we're calling them rookies now. No, okay. I heard someone else make the joke like that. Rookies. He's calling them rookies, and I'm sure he means like. I'm making a joke really because I'm remembering there is this push for more black coaches in the NFL, and I'm like, great. It's like I don't even. It's not that I watch that stuff like I care, but it's like this is the same old story. Why is everything declining? Because you want to put black coaches as opposed to good coaches. I mean, let's keep it simple. Come on, folks. Playground rules on some. You got to be a child with some of these things. Okay, do you want black coaches or good coaches? Semplice. And you've heard me before. My thing on the decline in America is really beyond DEI. It's across the board. It's internal. It's the Romans forgot how to build aqueducts before they were inundated with immigrants. Okay. That being said, I'm just commenting on this story. Yeah, I think it's just a tragedy, Tom Brady says, that we're forcing these rookies to play early, but the reality is the only reason why we are is because we've dumbed the game down, which has allowed them to play. That's how the world treats blacks, how they treat women, and that is not love. That is hate. You want them to fail. You want everyone to fail just to feel better. You want to weaken everybody and everything. And your path, your chosen path, conclusion is death, weakness, and destruction. And you're happy to do it with a smile because you protected someone's feelings, right? I mean, how better can I just summarize it, right? Let me just keep it brief, huh? Just to keep it brief. It used to be thought of at a higher level, Brady continued. We used to spend hours and hours in the offseason in training camp trying to be a little bit better than the next year. But I think what happens is it discourages the coaches from going to deep levels because they realize the players don't have the opportunity to go to a deep level. So they're just going to teach them where they're at. 5 years at Michigan, I got to learn how to drop back pass, to read defenses, to read coverages. Brady added about what he experienced before he ever took a snap with the Patriots, to deal with winning games, to deal with playing in Columbus, Ohio, in front of 100,000 people. I had to learn from being 7th QB on the depth chart to moving up to a 3rd to ultimately being a starter. I had to learn all those things in college. That was development. It's an interesting commentary from what people say, the great, he's the GOAT, right? The GOAT, Brady. Interesting commentary there. I made my comments about DEI. I see the calls coming in. Lines are full. 888-775-3773. About to get to you. What did I want to say real quick about this? Oh, man, I was thinking about something. Oh, you know what? I was actually putting this together, and I came across this little clip of Kobe Bryant. He's a great man. He's black, and he's was the GOAT himself? No, and people all over the comments, under the comments of this video here, they're like, man, I don't like seeing Kobe like this. Oh man, I don't want to see this. I'm gonna forget this happened. Watch this, and you tell me, Kobe Bryant, is he really? Is there something wrong with it, Kobe here? He's practicing with his own team, okay, folks? That's his own team member he's talking to. Practice get real uncomfortable when I'm out here. MFers are soft out here, he says. I see why we lost 24 damn games. I'm supposed to practice to get better. And now, I don't know, maybe some people know basketball better than I. I hear Kobe's freaking fantastic. I also heard that the Lakers were losing a lot at this time, and it's just a different mentality. the drive to be great in this physical thing you're doing, what it takes, and how people is just, they're going to call it weak. They're going to call you mean. But showing their own weakness, how they can't hack it. And I'm relating that, I guess, to Tom Brady and the decline in all things. Because look, that's part of the decline. The people see that and instantly going, ooh, and cringing. And instantly, their instant reaction going like, ooh, that's mean. That's tough. I don't know if I would say it like that. I'd rather not see Kobe like this. This is the side of Kobe I wish I didn't see. That reaction from the masses is a key to unraveling what's going on Earth. What's going on Earth? Okay. Kobe, we got callers. Man, lines are full. That's awesome. 888-775-3773. Practically full. There's one line open. What else did I want to get into here? Yeah, we got other things to get into. Let's rock calls. Your name and where you calling from?
Hey, man. It's Josh from Georgia.
Josh on the air. Appreciate your call, sir.
What's up, man?
Oh, you were talking about this about whites
that was
and
me that called in. Yeah, about the
blacks
quarterback,
being made to serve in the quarterback stuff.
Yeah, you don't agree. I mean, do you agree? I mean, let me ask you the question. A yes or no question.
Okay. Hit me with the biblical question. Here for that biblical question.
Yes or no question, bro. Very simple. Be direct.
Okay. I'm about to be direct.
Was the black man created by God to serve the white man? Yes or no?
No.
You say no?
I say no, honestly. And now I like you. I like sticking to a yes or no, but now I can describe a little.
Go with no.
I'm going no.
And why is it?
Now I can describe a little bit. Well, basically, I put it like this. Now I'll start with. I did not feel it. I did not get even a hint of offense, or I did not twist my head in confusion when Mark said that at all. I thought nothing of it because I heard the conversation a bit, and he was coming at it from like a whites are better type kind of like mentality, right? He was.
You think so?
I'm using that to communicate in a very shallow way, but yeah, that they are essentially that they're smarter and they're just kind of they're just leading, and so if you're leading, then someone else is following. And then he's coming at it also from it's just evident. Like, just look, here are the people that build and here are the ones that aren't. So anyways, all this to say, I really didn't, I thought nothing of it. I'm just looking, my answer comes from the way I grew up. Sincerely. Right. I look at, and maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's liberal, or I don't know what you want to call it, but I grew up like this. I know that, and I really do see that there are roles in life now, and the order and things that I didn't quite see before, but I essentially still see everyone equal. You know what I mean? Like a black man and a woman, like they're equal in this sense, in that, I don't know, they're all thinking individuals and like that. Okay. And so that's just how when I'm speaking to a black man, I'm speaking to a man. This is how I live. I don't know how else to put it. I really don't know how else to put it other than, and this is not me denying anything Mark is saying. We could talk about slavery. We could talk about many things. And I probably would not cringe and be like, that's not true. There's probably a lot of facts that are very interesting about the world we live in and how people run things, how blacks run things. Look, all this to say, though, that this is just how I live my life. I don't know. I just haven't lived it any other way. When I speak to a black man, I'm speaking to an individual. When and that's how I see it. I don't see him as created to serve. And anyways, I'm rambling. What do you think so far?
Yeah, I mean, I disagree, bro.
I'm not saying you're right. What do you think? Yeah, you disagree. Why?
Yeah, I mean, okay, maybe he did mean it in the evil way where he thinks someone's better, but just the question alone, all men are created to serve their fellow man, whether you're white, black, blue, green, yellow, or pink. And so just a question, was the black man created to serve the white man? If you all in your emotions about it, you'll say no, because it sounds like you're saying that men and women aren't equal. I believe in equality. That's the liberal. Isn't that the liberal mentality? They want equality. All men are not equal, bro.
Right, but like I meant to kind of like I was trying to describe. That's why I was really trying to describe my language. I was communicating as Nick. I was communicating as Nick, and my equality. I really try to pin it down, and it really isn't this. We're all equal. Like no, that's just a lie. But tricky. When I'm talking to a black man, I'm not talking to any less of a person than me, and that's just how I see it. And now I'm hearing.
Are you really thinking that?
Well, I'm not. I'm not thinking. Look, I'm talking to.
Okay.
What do you mean? What's the? Are you saying there's another?
When you're talking to a black person, you're thinking, okay, well.
Here's how I put it.
Right,
here's how I put it. When I said that, it was devoid of the emotion, exactly the way you described it. Because you said if you're emotional, and if you're emotional, you're gonna hear someone say that and be like, oh, I want equality. That's why I stressed not feeling even a twinge of emotion when I heard Mark say that. So it's just an unemotional statement. This is just how I live. I really don't. It must be such a foreign thing that I've just never even thought about it. But I'm not. I've never thought when talking to a black man, and maybe this is civil rights. I don't know. I've never thought that he was created to serve. Now you're saying we were all created to serve. You think that's what Mark was saying? Yeah.
Mark is not like a racist.
So if you were to, I don't think he's a racist. I'm not saying he's a racist. I'm not saying he's a racist. I don't even think you said that I said that he meant it in the evil way, as in being better. I didn't even mean it like that. But let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. If you were to ask Mark, do you think the whites were created to serve blacks? Do you think he would say yes?
I don't know what he would say.
Because it sounds like you two mean different things. And you two are saying different things.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying Mark is wrong, but it sounds like do you think if you asked Mark, that the whites were created to serve the blacks in the way you're saying, do you think he'd say yes?
Probably not.
Following the conversation that was said without having to infer or add more, following the conversation that he had with Joel, you think that's what he meant? That whites were created to serve blacks?
I can't speak for him. I don't know.
It just doesn't sound like that's what he was saying.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't. But you know what? You know what it is? It's not about how he meant it. It's about how you take it and how you respond to it. I think that's the bigger picture.
I honestly, this is what I mean by not feeling any emotion.
Huh?
This is what I meant about not feeling any emotion. I'm really not answering that question. I'm really leaving it. And you know what that means? I guess that means I'm leaving space for that being true. That whites were. But I really just don't even understand. No, actually, let me back up. I don't live like that, but I just never even thought about it, man. I've never had to think about it. Yeah. And I don't see anybody created to serve in that way. And when I said better, when I said where Mark was coming from is that he's saying that whites were better. I didn't mean it even in like this evil way, in just a very factual and unemotional way. They're creating things, they're leading the way. So if facts are facts, then these people who are helping to build, and they were slaves at one point, and now they're helping, or they're always helping or whatever. They're the ones created to serve. If you see it in how can you even disagree with that, right? I know I'm rambling, but so far, what do you think?
He's kind of right still, because it's like, this is the white man's country. You know how Lin Yin Chin talks about this host nation, and he's like, I'm not white. So, my parents, we came over here, my grandparents and ancestors, they came over here as slaves. So, and I'm glad slavery happened. Otherwise, I would still be in Africa. So it's like, I don't want to be in Africa. I'm glad I was born in America. I'm glad slavery happened. Mm-hmm. Right? that's just the truth, you know. You
enough.
should be glad that your parents were anchor baby, and you got to be born in America.
It's true. My parents abused the immigration laws fair and square, and I'm giving back. I'm giving back, like Jesse says. At least I'm trying.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And it's like, a lot of people say, how could you say that about, how could you disrespect your ancestors? How
I don't think it's
dare you?
offensive. I agree. I don't think it's offensive. And here's what's interesting about what you're saying, because you're making me think of, for example, when Booker T. Washington was telling blacks to cast your bucket where you are. Stop trying to be all these things that you're just not. You got to start where you are. You're not all these things you're pretending to be. So build yourselves up and do your thing. And so, yeah. I did say no, to be clear with your question, because of where I was coming from. I hope that was a fair enough explanation. But it's it's an interesting conversation, and I stress that I don't take it offensive. It's definitely not an emotional thing. And Booker T.
Real quick.
Go ahead.
People say blacks are the life of the party because they tell a joke or two, bro.
Oh, people
know what I'm talking
say I'm the life of the party because
you saw Platoon, right?
I tell a joke. I love Platoon. Is that song in Platoon?
That song is in Platoon.
That song is in Platoon. My buddy and I would sing that all the time because it was in Platoon.
Yeah, you got to play that clip when they're dancing. They're like the soldiers. They're all playing, and you know that's Platoon.
Tracks
is a good
of my
movie
tears.
About race. Yeah, the tracks of my tears.
Awesome.
Take a good look at my face.
Charlie Sheen's in this friggin' movie.
Charlie Sheen is the star.
Looking amazing, looking like a Charlie Sheen. But just take a good look at my face, man. Although
that's what that song is about. It's like
hard and deep inside, I'm blue.
That's Smokey Robinson, right? I think that's Smokey Robinson.
Big time.
That's what the blacks are good at, bro. The blacks are good at entertainment. That song is a classic, and you know that's whites are good at war and I don't know, countries, and it's just common sense to me. I don't know, but yeah,
those are some of those. I think those are some of the details that I can maybe nitpick on. But yeah. I mean, I believe Booker T. Washington. I believe you could build yourself up. It takes time. It might even take generations, but I think you could build yourself up.
That's the mentality. And we've been brainwashed into hating that mentality and saying that, oh, it's the white man's fault. We're all equal. Everyone is equal. You know, it's the communist female mentality is all it is, man.
Josh, man, I appreciate your call. Is there something else you want to say? I'm going to move the wheels here.
Move the wheels, brother. Love the show, man. Thank you.
Appreciate it, sir. Call me again.
Yes, sir.
888-775-3773. Super chats. Thank you, Birdie Bound Brian. With a generous donation. Thank you. Appreciate that, sir. The tracks of you got to do the warble there, no? Doesn't he go like the tracks of my dear? Let's get to another caller. Your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Mark, L.A.
Hey, Mark, I was just talking about you.
Yeah, I listened. I was a little disappointed in your viewpoint, but Josh, I loved everything he had to say. He said he was black. He said that slavery is something they should be grateful to the white man for because it brought him out. I'm not quoting him word for word, but basically they brought the blacks out of Africa, brought them here, and made slaves out of them. They had full employment. These are my words now. And I believe that slavery was the order of the day. And we had peace. We had no racial problems, except we had runaway slaves. But, you know, that was a small minority. And so basically the streets of America were safe when we had slavery. And I don't even believe in slavery. I think the biggest mistake this country ever made was bringing the slaves, because look where we're at today. It was freeing the slaves that caused the problem. And yes, Nick, I do believe they were put on earth to serve us. And throughout history, the white civilizations have depended on colored labor to help society get through. The problem is when they get communized or liberated, then they look at the white man as the enemy. Take a look at Haiti. Look at the history.
Was it always like that?
Oh, I don't know. What
not
about
always, before
time?
What about before the heyday of the whites?
No, look at the pyramids in Egypt, the hieroglyphics.
Oh, dang! He's kind of got you guys on that one.
No, you could go back to that period, and you'll see on the hieroglyphics that they had black
right. The pharaohs were like white. I heard no.
Correct, according to the hieroglyphics.
Mark's kind of got you guys on that one.
What guys?
I'm just anybody mad at what you're saying, I guess.
Oh, but what I had some. Oh, if you look at the history of the country of Haiti, it was once called the Jewel of the Caribbean when the French ruled it. But to their demise, they brought black slaves over and they murdered. I don't know when it happened. Maybe close to 200 years ago or so. They murdered every white man, woman, and child on the island. And now the island itself is destroyed. The island is actually physically being destroyed because they cut so many trees that if you look at the island of Haiti from a telescope up in space, it looks like it's bleeding out because they've cut so many trees, the land itself. But more than that, it's just a cursed land. They've had corrupt governments forever. And if you want to get a glimpse into America's future, look at Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. is so bad and so crime-ridden, they're literally falling out of trees on people, these black criminals. I mean, there was a case where a black guy was hiding in a tree, and he jumped on a suspect. I mean, this is how bad it's getting. They're not even, the 9/11 dispatchers don't even want to come to work. They got to pay them an extra $800 because they're not qualified for the jobs. They're DEI hires.
People are not ready for the third world America. They don't even know the half of it. Mark, out of curiosity, something I thought of. Was there a time before? Was there a heyday of the whites, and then there was a time before that? I heard the Chinese, for example, were like they dominated. You know, these are some ancient civilizations. No, was there a time before? I mean, obviously there was a time. For example, there's a time before the Western European monarchies that were kind of the King George, King Henry. Like before that, let me ask you. Let me put it like this: would you say the Romans were white?
Yes.
And help me understand that. What makes them white? If that's if that's not an ignorant question, I guess.
No, that's good. There's a thing called Pan-Aryanism, and any Caucasian person who's white is in that. Now, the real Aryans were the Germans, blonde-haired, blue-eyed. But from that, you have other whites that are dark-skinned, but they're still Caucasian people. The problem with Italy was Hannibal. Fought. I don't know the history of them, but I know that race mixing was a problem in Italy because of black invaders.
Right, the Moors, no?
Pardon me? Yeah, that's it. The Moors. That's who they were.
And Spain, too. That's why they got that. And the Spanish, too, no?
Oh, yeah.
That's why they got problems. They got that indigenous malice in them.
Well, isn't, maybe you could tell me, are these black Hebrew Israelite characters, are they Moors? Are they the same thing?
I don't know. I don't
know. Either.
Aren't they just American blacks? The black Hebrews, they're just Americans.
You're talking about the black Hebrew Israelites?
Well, you mentioned the black Hebrew Israelites.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm asking, are they the same thing as the Moors? I know the Moors are foreigners, but
I believe the Moors were like North African Arabs or something like that.
Were they Negroes?
I think so. I believe either Negroes or some kind of Negro.
Hannibal, was he black?
No clue. Sorry.
Okay, because he was the leader of that group. But no, I believe there's a man by the name of Arnold Toynbee. I think it's spelled Toynbee. He was supposedly the greatest historian in world history. And I may be off on these numbers, but I believe he said it in world history, the white man has created about 15 different civilizations. The Asians have created another number less than that. And as of today, the black man has not created a single civilization anywhere on Earth.
Now, what makes you say... I've heard of Pan-Africanism. What do you think about that?
Well, this is Pan-Aryanism.
But is there such a thing as Pan-Africanism, I guess?
Yeah, I've heard of that term. I'm not positive what it means. I have a feeling. I'm only guessing.
If it's the same as all the black races are actually one.
Well,
I mean, who's to say it's not? Who's to say it's not correct or whatever?
You know, I don't know, but I remember when they had the civil war in Rwanda in the 90s, and from what little I know about it, I understand that the blacker natives or the blacker people in Rwanda were killing the other blacks who had been mixed with maybe the French or something, and they didn't like any, sight of even a half-breed, and now that's just what I've heard. You know, I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. I don't know what other reason they had that civil war in Rwanda. Are you familiar with that in the 90s?
Somewhat, yeah, like the Houthis and the Tutus and the radio.
Well, yeah, but they had a movie. They made a movie with Don Cheadle, and I don't know if you know that black actor.
Yeah.
And they kind of showed a little bit of what was going on there.
The Tutsis, that's what they were. The Hutus and the Tutsis.
Well, yeah, but one of the groups, the group that was getting hurt the most were the ones that were mixed with white. And the solid black people didn't like the mixed breeds. And that was, our media won't tell us that, but from what I've seen, from what I've heard, that was now, I could be wrong. And if somebody wants to correct me, no hard feelings.
So when I I described where you're coming from with the commentary on the races being created to serve, I was pretty much correct. No, I mean you're coming at it from like an evidentiary standpoint. Like it's just evident. Look at what the white races have done, and they're leading the way, and look at what these other races have done or haven't done, and that's why they were created to serve.
Sure. Well, let's start with the IQ test. On average, the average black man scores between 10 and 15 points.
I believe that you. Well, I get that you have I get that you have proof and all that. I've heard this one, but I get you. Like I believe you. Like you've thought this through, and you have your reasons for believing this as well. But essentially, was I correct in my description that where you're coming at it from is it's just you're just trying to describe something that's evident in a sense, and from that you've concluded what you're concluding. It's not that you're necessarily hating them or you want to enslave them. You're really just describing something that's evident to you.
Well, the only thing that's confusing to me, though, Nick, when Josh asked you if you believe that they were put here to serve us, you gave a direct no.
Yes. I just don't think like that.
Believe that.
I just don't think like that. And I just haven't thought like that. I just don't think like that. I don't know if it's because of my upbringing, but I'm not disagreeing with the things you brought up so far. I'm not disagreeing with any facts.
Did I mean, but that's fine. That's fine.
Wait. What did I disagree with? I haven't disagreed. Look, I haven't denied anything you brought up, have I?
No. To Josh's question, when he asked you, do you believe blacks are here to serve white people? You said no. I would say yes. So we do have full agreement. No problem.
I know it's maybe annoying that I'm like nitpicking. I have like multiple positions here and it's not clear, but I can't help but this is honest. This is honest. I'm really not disagreeing with any factual things you guys have brought up. Yet I say no because when you say to the statement, to the question, were blacks created to serve another race? I don't know if it's maybe a liberal tendency or something, but I can't help but say no. I just don't. I just don't. I don't. I don't think it's. Look. Let me describe my ramble. Apologies, but let me be clear. I'm trying to be clear in that I'm not even. That's not even me condemning those who say yes. I'm not saying that. Well, that you're wrong. That you're that you're like racist or something because you're saying because I've I think I've given you a chance to describe yourself, and I think you've made it clear. You're not coming at this from like I want to enslave people, and you're just describing something that's to you that's evident, and who can even disagree with what you've said so far on what societies have created and all that. That being said, when I look at a black man, I don't think that he was. I just can't. I don't know why. I don't think that God created him to serve the white man. I can agree with what you said. I can agree with, well, yeah, sure, it's quite evident that the whites are killing it, et cetera, whatever. But I don't, to the question, is the black man created to serve the white man? I can't say yes to that.
Okay, that's fine. But listen, look at it this way.
Okay.
And this is a fact. The average slave had a higher standard of living than the average black man in Africa today does. Okay, they live longer. They lived longer.
Is that true? I don't know.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about it. They were eating better. The one, even to this day in Africa, there's starvation. They're eating each other. They still practice cannibalism in some parts of Africa.
Well, the blacks today are definitely not doing well. I wouldn't say for all the things they want to say about, oh, is this slavery? Life is so. When I look at blacks today, I see them in pure hell.
You're talking about in the U.S.?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
They're in hell. They're angry. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. Life was better for them in slavery and all that. And I'm not saying, no, I'm just saying that I don't even have to answer that question. I look at blacks today and they're in hell. Slaves to their minds and slaves to their anger and their sin.
But
Total
look
slaves.
At the ones in Africa. How bad are they?
I hear it's bad over there.
Pardon me?
I hear it's bad over there.
Yeah, I mean, look at South Africa, once run by whites when they had apartheid and peace. Like in the U.S., when we had segregation, we had racial peace. But once those laws were changed, civilization slowly started to collapse. And in South Africa today, with the apartheid laws, voided, everything's falling apart. They've got blackouts.
That's an interesting commentary, man.
Is out of hand. If you can't see where white people bring culture, they bring education, they bring civilization.
Folks, before you get mad at Mark, where can you? Where is he wrong here? Real quick, Mark. Like I said, folks, before you, where is he wrong? I mean, he's saying some interesting things here, interesting commentary. Because these people, a lot of the people, they want to blame and they say life is so hard now, and it's because of slavery. But these things fly in the face of that. Can I ask you a quick question, Mark?
Sure.
Do you believe whites were created to serve blacks in any way?
No, I hate to disagree with Josh, but no, actually, he didn't say that I did, so I take that back. No, not at all. Now, there was white slavery, though, for the record. I mean, you're familiar with the Libyan pirates who kidnapped European white women and sold them in the, sex slave trade. And then the Marines and the U.S. government got involved, and we wiped them out. We wiped out those pirates. The Marine Corps hymn, The Shores of Tripoli, they're talking about Libya when we wiped out those devils. Now, that's part of Africa, and they enslaved the white women. But we're not allowed to talk about that.
That is crazy. You're not allowed to talk about that.
No, I'm being facetious. We don't talk about about white slavery because it's not politically correct. But it happened, and it was a reality.
True, Mark. Fair enough, Mark. Hey,
it's a guilt trip.
Can I hit you with a curveball?
Yeah.
Because very interesting, a lot of stuff, and before you, like I said, before you get offended, there's some stuff you can't deny here. But on the serving thing, if I could hit you with a little bit of a curveball, did you know, just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve? That
you mean Jesus?
Yeah, that's something he said. No,
I believe he did.
And I'm not trying to be cheeky here to deny what you just said about that the whites were not created to serve. Look, this is kind of a different thing. In some way, you were created to serve the black man. No, I mean, what do you think Jesus meant by that?
I don't think he said that exactly about serving the black man.
Well, no, not the black man, but you're here to serve. You did not come to be served, but to serve and to give your life as ransom for many.
Oh yeah, to Jesus you give your life.
Is that what he was? He was saying to give your life as ransom for many. He didn't say to me. He said, not instead, whoever wants to become great among you must be. Oh, wait. Yeah, must become servant, and whoever wants to be first must be your slave, just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve.
Well, okay, I'm not sure what to say to that, but I can say this. And I think it was in Peter, Hake read the other week the quote about treating your slave, coming out of the Bible, to treat your slave with respect. So it was biblically approved to have slaves. Didn't say anything about race. Because they were talking about in Jesus.
Do you think if Jesus was talking about serving, you think he's talking about slavery?
I don't know.
You think maybe he was talking about something else other than slavery?
Maybe. All I can tell you.
Yeah, most likely. Look.
Well, but they had slavery then.
What's
in Jesus' day?
Right.
Jesus,
but I don't think that's when Jesus was. So you think when Jesus was saying that he didn't come to. Whoever he's saying to serve, you're saying that's who needs to be a slave? I think it's I think it's a lot. I think it's just more. I think it's more normal and real than that, Mark. I think in that sense, if you take it like if you were to listen to Jesus about serving, it wouldn't be such a big deal to, I guess, conclude that you are to serve the black man. And I guess now it comes to the question, what is serving? And I guess maybe at this point you could disagree that the anchor baby, what the heck is he talking about? But to me it's for example, you know how the whites are scared and they won't say the truth. They won't tell whites, they won't tell blacks, I'm not your problem. You gotta It's not your problem. It's not racism. It's the anger that you have. You brought it on yourselves. You've degenerated your family. The families are broken, led by women. You know how the whites won't do that?
Right.
Because they're afraid and all that? Well, if they were to do that and sell them without anger, with honesty, that would be showing them love. Would you agree?
Yes, and
that would be serving. That would be serving the blacks, in my opinian.
Well, yeah, but
which is what Jesus called us to do. What do you think about that?
I agree, and it would also solve the race problem. If white people, the average white man, could speak as freely as I do on this issue in public, we wouldn't have a race problem. But because
if people weren't mad, if people weren't angry. Sorry, I cut you off. Say that again.
Well, I was just going to say, this N-word business, which is ridiculous. That I'm not going to repeat it because of your error, but it's a 6-letter word that's protected by the First Amendment. But if you use that legally protected word, you can still lose your job and in some cases your life, depending on who's there when you say it. Yet it is a legally we're already held in check by the censors and the word police, and it's a double standard because black people use that word to describe themselves regularly, but we can't. Let me just say this though, going back to the original statement subject to. Just think of it this way, Nick. When we had slavery, we had peace in America. The streets were safe. After slavery ended, we had segregation, which kept them safe for another 100 years. But after the civil rights movement, everything went to, you know what, I won't say it, but you know what I mean. Everything, racially speaking, our cities went to them. Washington, D.C. is a conquered city. Milwaukee, Baltimore. I mean, these are conquered cities. They were once great, proud American cities. And they've fallen into the depths of the black power political machine. And I don't see any way out. I really don't. Like I said before, if you want to see the future of a diverse society in America, go to D.C. Spend a week in D.C. Walk around.
What a mess,
see
Mark.
how our nation's capital is going.
Mark, man, can you call me again on this?
I sure will. God bless you, and you have a good weekend, Nick. It was good talking.
Appreciate your call. Take care. 888-775-3773. Let's keep rocking these calls. We're almost done here. Factual stuff. It's interesting. You don't have to get mad. And I don't know if I can. I try my best to describe with Mark, and as I continue learning in my life, I'm sure I'll describe it better. That you may be factually correct, but it's not anyways, the decline is internal and the culprit is anger and whatever. Look, being mad at these people who are race baiting and doing all this stuff to the whites is actually worse and gonna get you into more trouble, is what I'm trying to say there. More trouble and no way out. Not a solution. Even if you're right about all that, being mad about it is not a solution. And it is what keeps it's what keeps the evil going round. It's why it won't go away. Because I really don't see anybody. Whites, blacks, Republicans, I don't really see anybody repenting. And what does that mean? Really just looking in the mirror and going like, well, I got hate, blame, and victimhood in me. I don't have love for the blacks, for otherwise, for other people. And love doesn't mean being all emotional and allowing evil. Okay, do I even need to say that? Don't you know love is not emotions? Jeez, come on, wake up. Grow up. We got another caller. Your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, Nick, it's John from Houston.
John, how you doing, man? Thanks for calling me.
Oh, man, I'm getting stage fright. I'm about to make a name for myself.
Naming lights. Don't get nervous. One chance. Nah. That's a joke, man. Speak freely, no problem.
My heart's beating so fast. Well, I wanted to talk about Donald Trump. And I just have a simple and quick little mental loop for you. So, like Donald Trump, I admire Donald Trump because he was the 45th president because he earned and fought for it. And he won. Fair. So, I was thinking, what about in Africa? What kind of person in Africa, world leader or not, has the same qualities as Donald Trump? That you admire or I admire or doesn't matter.
Rare stuff, man. Terribly rare, terribly rare. Just look at our government.
Yeah, you said rare, yeah. But, no, I'm serious, though.
Yeah, where else are we seeing that?
Yeah.
I really don't know, man. I can't see it anywhere. Just look at our government. Just look at these people. And look at our officials when they meet world leaders. They don't look, it just doesn't even look right. They look like your gym teacher. It looks wrong. They're shaking their hands. I'm like, this is not a leader of anything.
Well, yeah, I mean, sure, in America, I can think of, Jesse. That's a black man.
Oh.
Because I'm going off of,
nice.
Kind of going off the wall here, but, that's one way you can put together, good rapport for, minorities, instead of saying, this was a mistake. This was a mistake, and focusing on that.
Okay, describe it.
Piggyback in the last caller.
Yeah, keep going. Instead of saying the slave that bringing them here was a mistake, you're offering an alternative.
Yeah, just kind of like thinking, changing your thoughts. Kind of like changing your thoughts, changing your perspective to be something positive and not negative. But I'm not talking about just in America, but what about in another part of the world, Africa?
Interesting. So
Elon Musk came from Africa, right? Elon Musk came from Africa. It's producing pretty good people. And I feel bad for Africa because You know, they have all the gold and jewels and stuff under their land, but they don't really get to mine it.
They don't get to mine like, they got like cobalt mines and all that out there for our fancy electric cars and our phones. And you're talking about all that, that whole industry, it takes the wealth out of there?
It doesn't, like, it's like, that's one way you can look at it, but yeah, it takes the wealth out of there. And, they have to, like, kind of, like, play nice. They don't get to use their like, they kind of have to, they don't have as much power as we do, right? Or as, a big country.
But whose fault is that?
Well, if it's coming off like I'm, pointing the finger or anything like that, I don't mean for that.
Fair enough.
But, I'm just making an observation. And I want to, like...
you know what I do like about what you're saying? About changing your mentality? What do you think about this? When you look at these people, let's say you're seeing these people working at a mine in Africa, and maybe their conditions aren't the best, and life is tough. Are you saying that can you have a positive mentality about even that?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's tough and hard labor, and it's men's work. And I don't think there's women over there mining in there.
I don't think so. But you say there's a way to have a positive mentality or spirit during a tough time. Is that what you're saying? Are you alluding to that a little bit?
I mean, I'm talking about Donald Trump fighting against his political opponents and like really like aggressively dominating.
Mm-hmm.
And even when they like steal from him, he's still like wealthy. He's still got his family, but he's just a great person.
I think you can have I think you can have the right mentality even in the hardest of times, even if your country's being inundated with blacks and others that are ruining your country. And even if you're factually correct about that, I think you can have a different not dead mentality. Is that too much? Is that too crazy? You could still be alive. Or am I talking BS?
I mean,
can I get an
do
amen?
Nothing, like Jesse says,
Right on, John. Right on, sir.
But I wanted to ask you real quick too. What do you think about Deadpool and Wolverine? Like, what do you think how the world sees that movie? What do you think about it?
Deadpool and Wolverine. Oh, is this like a new movie coming out? Already came out?
Deadpool and Wolverine. It's the highest grossing rated R movie.
Really?
Ever.
Oh wow, ever? I haven't even heard about it. Is this that guy who plays Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah. Anyways, Nick. Yeah. Think about it.
What's going on with how are people seeing Deadpool and Wolverine?
I know that's a good question. I was asking because I don't know. It seemed like I loved Wolverine, but Deadpool, he was kind of like morally ambiguous.
Is it
That's all
fair
I
to
can say.
call Deadpool like a gag character?
Yeah, he's a gag, merc with a mouth.
These types of characters are interesting in fiction because they don't follow any rules of the verse. They can literally go outside of the comic panel and break the fourth wall. They're like unbeatable in a sense. They're interesting characters. Deadpool's kind of like that, no?
Yeah, it's that saying, truth is stranger than fiction. So anything could happen.
John, man, appreciate your call. Call me again.
All righty.
888-775-3773. All right. Your name and where you calling from, caller?
Hey, Nick. This is Kevin calling from New York.
Kevin, nice to hear from you. How you been, man? I haven't heard from you.
I've been doing all right. I've been really, really busy with work. And even now I'm listening to the show and just on a whim wanted to call in.
Hey, right on, man. Thank you.
Oh, cool. Well, hey, the thing that Mark was talking about, I don't dislike the guy, but I really, really disagree with what he was saying.
Okay.
About the whole race thing, that the blacks are supposed to serve the whites, or whoever may twist around logic and say the opposite of that. Well, all of that's wrong. And it was really interesting that you brought up the thing about Jesus.
Yeah.
And what Jesus has said. Because I just feel like people forget about these things, or they don't take it into consideration or something like that. But before I continue, like, even with the whole thing with Mark, I have to constantly look at myself, make sure that even though I don't that I disagree with the guy, not to hate the guy. You know what I'm saying? But to go on, one of the things that Jesus said, it's almost a prophecy, even though it wasn't really said as a prophecy. It was more or less a normal conversation between Jesus and his apostles, because there's somewhere in the Bible where Jesus and the apostles were walking along, and the apostles were discussing amongst themselves who was to be the most preeminent amongst them. And so Jesus goes on to stop them and ask, what were you discussing amongst yourself, even though he knew already. And to get to the point,
they were talking about who's going to be like more famous? Who's going to have more followers?
Something like that.
Who
would be the leader among the apostles? Who,
that's funny.
Vain stuff like that. And Jesus went on to say that if any of you were to strive to be first, you should be last, and the last will be first. You can take that along with a whole bunch of other things that Jesus says, that anybody who even strives for, anybody who has power should renounce it and become like those who don't have power. Not in those exact words, but he did say that. It's just really, really interesting to me that people kind of overlook that. And to be even more specific, if it's not up to us to decide who is to be first and who is to be last, that's solely reserved up to God, knowing the hearts of all mankind. Do you see what I'm saying?
Interesting, man. Interesting. Something to think about a little bit here.
It really.
What do you think about?
Yes.
What do you think about my? What do you think about my answer on serving and on my example? An example, for example, on how whites could serve blacks. What do you think about that?
How whites could serve blacks?
Yeah, I was describing what that verse about to serve. How the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve, and I even gave an example on how for example, whites can serve blacks, like being honest to them, showing them love, not showing them fear and lying to them, saying racism exists. Yeah, what do you think about that?
Very, very interesting. I would suggest people to focus on the word serve, because yes, whites can serve blacks, but blacks could also serve whites, in the sense to the end that Jesus tries to exhort us to love our brother as ourselves. Do you see what I'm saying? Because
yeah, I think so. Like Jesse, I feel like Jesse Lee Peterson does a daily show every day for the people, in a sense. You know, his brothers. It started with the blacks and you know, people. You know what I mean? And he's serving. Yeah. He's like serving every day, in a sense. And it happens in a moment when a caller comes in. He doesn't even remember what they were about yesterday, if they had called before. He's just listening to them right then. He's there in the moment, not thinking about yesterday, tomorrow, trying to get something in. He's just listening. And that's like serving.
Yeah, absolutely. To serve, you know, people kind of, I guess they take that word in the wrong way, like they take the word obey the wrong way.
Yeah.
You know, because the whole serving thing, whether it be white serving black, black serving white, in order to truly serve, would be, in a sense, to show them true love instead. You know? And it's so interesting to me to even come to this realization myself. You know, there's also that part in the Bible where Jesus washes the feet of one of the disciples, Peter possibly. And this disciple goes on to say, Jesus, you know, don't wash my feet. Something like that. I don't know if I'm telling this accurately, but, you know, don't wash my feet, let me wash your feet, or something like that. And Jesus says, if I didn't wash your feet, then you'd have no portion with me. You know? That is sort of, in a sense, showing, almost in a symbolic form, what it means to serve another person.
Interesting, man.
You know? Yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Oh, and thank you for listening. It's really, really interesting stuff. One more thing, if you have time.
Yeah, please go ahead.
It's a kind of a different subject, but I heard Jesse maybe once or twice mention or ask the question, what does the Bible say about abortion? And the conclusion was the Bible doesn't say anything about abortion. But if you remember my past calls and where I'm coming from, I think that apocryphal books
I remember.
are the Bible. Well, yes, to fast forward through that, if someone were to read the book of Enoch and the story behind that, the parts in the book of Enoch that go on to say that fallen angels had taught mankind certain things that they didn't know. And on the surface, these things that the fallen angels had taught mankind, they seem innocent on the surface, but it led to furthering mankind into sin and further away from God.
What did again?
What did they teach?
No, what led them further from God again?
The things that led them further away from God were the things that the fallen angels had taught mankind. Now, in the book of Enoch, they name some of these fallen angels by name. Depending on the name is what that certain angel taught mankind. You know, like one fallen angel taught mankind how to make weapons of war, as previously they didn't know how. And it varies. It varies a lot, strangely, because there was even a fallen angel listed in the book of Enoch that taught mankind, specifically women, how to put on makeup.
Oh, really?
But
satanic.
Yeah, definitely.
The apocrypha stuff is really foreign to me. I don't mind. I don't mind you bringing it up. I do like. I can't help but stress it is I guess I'm too regular. I'm just too regular of a Christian. That stuff is it's like foreign. But hey, it's interesting to hear about it. I definitely am not. Please continue. You're almost done.
Yeah, it's Catholic stuff, I think, even though strangely Catholics don't accept the entirety of the Apocrypha, I think. But anyway, to get to my point, the reason why I brought up the whole abortion thing is because that was also one of the things that the fallen angels had taught mankind. There was a specific fallen angel within the book of Enoch that was listed that, quote, taught mankind how to dash the embryo in the womb so it would no longer grow.
Oh, wow.
And it was just incredibly disturbing to me because I'm like, man, like in some variations, you go on to read that mankind really isn't all that different than now as they were back then, because the reason why they would even do something like that during the days of Enoch was for vain reasons. Like women during those days had the abortion with the idea of me getting pregnant would change my physiology and I wouldn't be attractive anymore. Vain stuff like that.
Yeah,
and I'm like, wow, mankind really hasn't changed.
Right, it's like
all this time.
even that's true. Actually, if it's whatever it's written, whoever, the fact that old writings are talking about like as if it could be yesterday, it's an interesting thing. No, come on, man. Yeah. Kevin, as always, appreciate your call, sir.
Hey, it's been a pleasure, Nick. I'll try to call you again sometime.
Yeah, man, nice to hear from you. Call me again.
All right, God bless you and everyone else.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Dang. I think we're done, folks. We just done had a show. Now, what else was I going to talk about here? Where did my show go? Deadpool. Hold up. Man, thank you for the super chats. Very generous. Kale Samogi says, Nick, I believe whites should serve the blacks. The best of us should lift up the worst of us. Right on, Kale. Nick, I believe the whites should serve the black. But like, what would that? It's like, I'm not gonna be offended. Like, I'm not offended at all. Like, it's like, if you read what you're saying we should lift up. You're not saying something evil here. But like, what would that look like? Serve the black. What should the blacks do? Other than just cast their bucket down and build themselves up where they are. You know what I mean? So I guess in that sense, it's like, well, if you're going to work for them and really learn how to build. That's just how I take it, okay? Birdie Bound Brian, thank you, says Wolverine has top 5 lore of all time. I know Wolverine's pretty sick, right? Didn't he live through the Civil War? Building societies, true. Learning, like for cast your bucket. Yeah. Didn't Logan live through the Civil War? Isn't that part of his lore? That's pretty cool. He doesn't even know how old he is, no? Adamantium skeleton. It's a cool superhero. I've always liked the regenerators. Look, it's a kind of broken skill. It's kind of a broken. That's why very few characters in fiction do it well. Regeneration. I mean, villains who regenerate. It's like very few times is like. Usually, it's like a hack. It's like, oh, this guy just did everything. The main character, he did everything, and it's like, wow, we did. It was a slog fest, but I think we got him. It's like, okay, hacks, whatever. I mean, very few times has it done where a villain can regenerate, and it really does feel like overwhelming, like everything we just did, that he undid it, like Majin Buu, even Cell. You know, it's just like you could really feel just the uphill battle and just how much bigger the mountain got. Regeneration. What was I going to say? Logan. Wolverine. Cool. Appreciate the super chats, everybody. That's the calls. I had so many. Thank you. And all the supporters on Rumble and D-Live. That's pretty much it for me. We got maintenance to do on the planes. Okay, we will be back. We will do next stream. Plane, American Anchor Baby on the plane. We will do plantation streams. Of course, we got work to do on the plantation. But that's it from me. That's a show I got. What else? I did have some topics. What did I not get to? Is it fine to just leave this for Monday? Or does it needs to get done? Yeah, this can all wait. All right, y'all. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. What else can I say? Frederick, how you doing, sir? Nice to see you in the chat. Ivana, what's up, cuz? Gizmo, bunch of people I've said hi to. Falconing, nice to see you. Calvin, on your way out, I'll say, hey, what's up? What's up? Matthew, Calvin. All right, folks. Christopher, Chris, I'm out, y'all. Enjoy. Hey, Zenny, take care. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, your weekend. Kick back a little, do what you got to do, and then be silent and still. And then we'll catch up together Sunday and do our thing on Monday. All right, y'all. Appreciate it. Take care. Bye.